Someone make it make sense.
Probably a couple.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. We got another live stream for you today. We are covering the latest Karen Reed docs. So we have quite a few new things to take a look at here. First of all being the, oh my goodness, the defense prospective witnesses. So here we go. There's going to be some overlap here with the Commonwealth's witness list as we heard them discuss in the recent hearings, but we're going to just go ahead and take a look at who they might intend to call. So we've got the McAlberts, Michael Wagner, Cheryl Wall, and Paul Mikowski. Don't know who those people are, do y'all? And then we have, so these are like all their lay witnesses, right? Leslie Bernstein, Rebecca Bazin, Officer Barros. Wait, hold on. Did they not categorize them? Never mind. It's not, they're not categorized, actually. Just kidding. Oh, they're just in alphabetical. No, they're not in alphabetical order. Weird. They go from all of the A's to the W's. Okay, so it's just all mixed up. Excellent. All right. Leslie Bernstein, Rebecca Bazin, Nicholas Barros, Trooper Brent, Gary Buchanan, Lori Cahill, Trooper Clark, Christopher Curran, Kerry Curran, Nicholas Curran, Richard Dentono, Officer Kelly Deaver, Stephanie Devlin, Trooper DeChico, Patrick Haggerty, Maureen Hartnett. See, I remember that lady was the, I think she was like the glass lady, or she might have been the hair lady. Brian Albert Jr., Brian Higgins, Louis Stutris, Trooper Connor Keefe, Matthew Kelly. Oh, the Kolakithises. Okay. They were not on the Commonwealth's list, I don't think. Terry Kuhn, that was the lady who did the DNA, and this lady, that's who she was. Hold on, I can show you all who she was. This lady.
You would use a solo cop.
I'm sorry, what?
Objection, Your Honor.
Solo cop.
So she might make another appearance. Michael Lank, Lucky Loughran, Heather Maxson, Allison McCabe, Jen McCabe, Matt McCabe, Lance Mello, Brother Nagel, Steve Nelson, and Andre Porto, Holly Price, Trooper Prince, Elizabeth Proctor, Trooper Proctor, Carrie Roberts, Wendell Robbery, Stephen Ridge, Heriberto Hernandez, Mark Lopelado. I don't recognize a lot of these people. Alfredo Lopelado, they didn't testify in the first trial, or I would recognize their names. Angela Malvoni, I guess, Lieutenant Tully, Courtney Proctor, Tristan Morris, Jean Demoulas, Mary Souza, Ashley Bell, Mike Rushworth, Matthew Amory, Michael Morrissey, Thomas Beatty, Aaron Beatty. A lot of these names are unfamiliar to me here from the first trial. Megan Mariani, Thomas Martin, John O'Keefe Sr., Lieutenant Fanning, Matthew Kelch, Thomas Kelcher, Annie Chung, Helena Rafferty, Dr. Scordi-Bello, Trooper Kostkowski, Trooper Paul. Oh my God, please call Trooper Paul. People, I hope everybody calls Trooper Paul. And then there's that new Sergeant DJ Petro and Sergeant Gallagher. I believe that's the last one. So it does not include their experts, but there you go. So let's see what y'all are saying in the chat. Welcome Fender, welcome DSN, welcome Gwennon Garnett. Let us know if you would like a custom command, Gwennon. Yeah, so they're not on this unless there's been an updated one. That was the prospective one filed from, when was that filed? March 19th. But the experts are not on there. But yeah, Gwen is saying 12 experts this time if Bev allows them, right? That's a whole thing. So shout out to Fender and DSN and Gwennon. Love y'all. By the way, when I was doing timestamps the other day, DSN, it was from the Brian Koberger live stream, and I was reading the 911 call transcript, and they said, is it a house or an apartment or whatever? And I said, it's a house. in my brain, I was like, oh my God, don't go into Murdoch land. And I didn't realize that because there was a lot going on in the chat and I was reading. But I noticed when I was doing the timestamps that DSN came through for me in the chat and did this command, which I forgot I had, which is awesome because it goes on ahead and does It's a House without me having to totally derail everything. So I appreciate that. And I wanted to say thank you so much for doing that. But because we can do it now in celebration.
It's a house.
There we go. Yeah, love it. We love you so much. Did you put your trivia category in the Discord yet, DSN? If not, you're welcome to let me know here now in the chat. And if you are like, what are you talking about? Because you haven't heard me mentioning this, let me know and I will be happy to explain. Okay, thank you. Yeah, you can put it in the Discord or you can just, or you can tell me and I can write it down. I've had some people that have been telling me, so I've got a list for things I'm writing down as well. So for whichever is easier for you. I don't know who Nurse Kim is. Is that a YouTube channel? $12 for 12 experts. What does that mean? $12? Yes, I will be happy to explain. Okay, so our next members only live stream is going to be Never Have I Ever. The following members only live stream is going to be Trivia Night. And the way we're going to do it is with, like, as they say in sports ball, a handicap, which is, I'm not a sports ball person, but my understanding is it's like you get a certain number of points ahead of time. So kind of like that. It's like a good thing, right? So essentially what we're doing is this. So for everyone who wants to participate, they can pick their own category for like trivia that they think they will do best at. I mean, it doesn't have to be, but that would probably be why you would pick it, right? So things that you might think you might do best at, or maybe things that you think other people won't know. There's some strategy involved here. We've already been seeing with different people's choices. And then what I'm going to do is everybody gets to pick their category, and then I will pick I will make an even number of questions from each of those categories. And then I will also throw in some standard categories that are more generic or whatever too. But that way everybody has the things that they think they will do best at. Because when we were doing the law trivia, a lot of people were like, oh, if this was fill in the blank, I'd be doing great or whatever, so that's where I got the idea. So that's how we're going to do it. But yeah. Oh, awesome. That's good news. The Defense Fund for Karen Reed reached 800K today. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. It's donating for experts. Okay. Gotcha. Cool. Well, that's a great cause. And I'm very happy that they were able to raise some more money. I mean, on the bright side, I guess, not on the bright side. I know they would have loved to have had, oh my God, why am I blanking on his name? Bedero. Oh my God. My brain was thinking Bedouin. I'm like, that's not it. It's not Bedouin. Bedero. Which is really funny because, like, whoever thinks about Bedouins, not me, but for some reason that popped into my brain. So I'm sure they would have loved to have Bedero, but that is one less, attorney. So where it is in the Discord, there's a thread for members only requests, and you can put it in there. And that way they will all be in one place. Or you can just tell me right now and I can write it down either way. It might be fun, though, for people that put it in the Discord, because then other people can see what other people's categories are. And then what some people could do if they really want to be overachievers and are really competitive, I know we do have some squirrel friends like that, they could actually see what other people are picking and they could start studying, which would be really fucking funny, right? Somebody tries to be an expert in all the categories. Not trying to give you all any strategies, but yeah, that could be a thing that people could do if they wanted to. So yeah, and for anyone who's interested and wants to partake in all of the fun, I'll put a link in the chat as well for our memberships. They are new. We have several different levels. And as more people join, I unlock more perks, which I didn't know was a thing until I started creating memberships, that you're limited on, like, for example, custom emoji and whatnot until, you have more people. So I think I forget how many more people, like 8 more people. And then I unlock like 10 more emoji or whatever. But anyway, none of the attorneys are charging her. Oh, okay. Really? Alan Jackson and Yanetti, like, they're not charging her? Or Alessi? Only for experts and legit. Interesting. I feel like, I don't know. That would be crazy though, right? Especially, that's crazy. Wow. I could kind of understand it though for like Yannetti and Jackson, because she would have already paid them for the first trial. And like, but for Alessi, that is really generous and kind of him, especially because he wasn't there for the first trial and he's having to get caught up to speed. He's actually pulling a lot of the heavy lifting this time around. Wow. Yeah. Gwennon's saying they are all pro bono. That's awesome. Very cool. Gwennon said she's met some Bedouins in Egypt. That is amazing on all the levels. That A, you've been to Egypt, and B, you've met Bedouins. That is freaking amazing. Was that like vacation? I want to go to Egypt. Right. She owes them a good 6 figures in billables. Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing. I don't doubt that they believe that much in her innocence. It's just that, like, I would imagine that they've had to significantly reduce their caseload for other cases, especially being from California in Jackson's case, right? Or New York in Alessi's case, and having to be out of town. And when you think about like not being able to take on other cases or having to really lighten your workload, you know, it's like, especially because with law firms, right, they're partners. And so the way it works, right, like the way that those are structured is like everybody is responsible for bringing in a certain amount of money. And then like, so it really affects the whole firm, I guess. You know what I mean? So it's not just like doing it for free, but also like not being able to take on other cases. So it's amazing though that they have, I guess, partners who are, you know, in other words, everybody's going to have to be willing to make some sacrifices, even the people who aren't involved. Like, yeah, like their other partners. So, oh, Egypt was honeymoon for 2 weeks. That is amazing. That's awesome. Did y'all stay in like a hotel or like camping? I can't even picture what that would be like. That sounds like I could imagine you could do it a variety of different ways, right? Like, yeah, I feel you, Fender. I feel you on that. Well, Mr. Alessi, who's been here for several of these live streams recently, himself, right, has been in the chat and said, you know, what did he say the other day? Like, thank you for keeping this case fresh or whatever. So, you know, I guess we all do our part however we can. And honestly, just, I think that the, all the attention and, you know, positive vibes and however people can contribute, right, goes a long way, I'm sure. I mean, Karen herself has said that, you know, in the different interviews and whatnot. Have y'all watched the new documentary? Okay, so while y'all are weighing in on those different topics, guess what we have? Trial board finding. So Trooper Proctor. So the findings of the trial board held on January 15th, 2025, February 10th, 2025, and March 13th, 2025, in pursuance of the personnel order dated January 6th, 2025, having been approved by the Colonel Superintendent, Trooper Michael D. Proctor is hereby found. Charge 1. And they're not saying what it is, but look, guilty, guilty, guilty. I love the all caps, living for the all caps. Trooper Proctor, on various dates between January 29th, 2022 and August 17th, 2022, did fail to conform to the work standards established for the member's rank, title, or position, and or did fail to take appropriate action on the occasion of a crime, disorder, or other condition deserving state police attention. This occurred when Trooper Proctor, while assigned as the lead investigator in a homicide investigation, sent derogatory, defamatory, disparaging, and or otherwise inappropriate text messages about a subject in that investigation to other individuals. This action is in direct violation of Article blah, blah. This is a Class A violation. Trooper Proctor, on various dates between January 29th, 2022 and June 9th, 2022, did fail to conform to the work standards established for the member's rank, et cetera, take appropriate action on the occasion of a crime, disorder, or other condition deserving state police attention. This occurred when Trooper Proctor, while assigned as the lead investigator in a homicide investigation, provided sensitive and or confidential information about a homicide victim, potential witness, and or potential investigative steps in the investigation to non-law enforcement personnel. This action is in direct violation of the same article, and it's another Class A violation. So just to summarize here, these paragraphs are basically exactly the same. The only difference is the first paragraph is saying sent derogatory, defamatory, disparaging, and etc. text messages. And the second one is saying provided sensitive or confidential information about a victim, witness, or investigative steps to non-law enforcement personnel. Trooper Proctor, through his actions on various dates between January 29th, 2022 and August 17th, 2022, did fail to conform. Okay, again, this is a law. This is the same. Let's see what this says. So lead investigator in homicide investigation, through his unprofessional and inappropriate conduct, created an image that he was biased in his dealings with a homicide suspect and or brought otherwise himself and the Massachusetts State Police into disrepute. Well, he's not alone in that one. This action is in direct violation of, again, the same article. And then this last one, did consume alcohol while on duty and not in the performance of duty and while acting under specific orders from a supervisory member or proper authority. This occurred when he consumed alcoholic beverages while eating dinner on duty and then proceeded to operate his department-issued cruiser. So is Kevin Albert going to be facing some issues here as well? Because we know that's who he was with, at least on one of those occasions. This action is in. And what about Higgins? Anyway, all of them really, seems like. Okay, and there it is. As a result of his actions, be terminated and dishonorably discharged. The dishonorable part is awesome, right? And ironic, though, that the superintendent is Jeffrey Noble. Pooper Tractor, yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's the real one. I assume it's not. I can't imagine that, but it's just fun to pretend. They did, the Robert Alessi in the chat did not know anything about the Brian Koberger case, though. So, that was fun getting them caught up to speed. So, okay. So Gwennon saying it was an all-inclusive hotel on the Red Sea. That is so cool. Your brother-in-law's Egyptian. Neat. That's awesome. Is your husband also Egyptian then? Oh, okay. The documentary, okay, hasn't dropped there yet because Gwennon's in the UK. You're in, remind me, Gwennon, are you in Ireland, right? We have a number of Irish squirrels. Well, yeah, we have a couple. I mean, Blackwater, of course, everyone's usually the Irish last that comes to mind. Okay, so next up we have the juror questionnaires. Cool. Juror number blank. Do not include your name. Today's date. Okay, he's British and his sister married an Egyptian. Okay, cool. So you're an American in England. That's so funny. So my aunt did that. My aunt, obviously is still American, but lived in England for like a long ass time. Married an Englishman, lived in England, and raised British kids. And then after like several decades, they all moved to the U.S. It's pretty funny. Well, cool. If you're familiar at all with Leeds, that's where my family was living before they moved to the U.S. Okay, so don't include your name. Put the date. Okay, excellent. Question 1, are you a McAlbert, right? Yeah. Okay, 1, it is alleged that on January 29th, 2022, while intoxicated and operating her motor vehicle in Canton, Massachusetts, the defendant, Karen Reed, killed her boyfriend, John O'Keefe, an off-duty Boston police officer. Is there anything about the description of the case, the charges, or that the victim was an off-duty police officer that causes you to believe that you cannot be fair and impartial in this case? You can check yes, no, or not sure. You guys, if y'all want, you don't have to, but if you guys want to answer this as if you were a juror and pretend you don't know anything about the case, which I know would be hard, feel free. Because that literally, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, okay, if I was a potential juror, and I know nothing about this case, and I'm reading this description, so I'm thinking, so far, I think I could say, is there anything that caused me to think I could be fair and impartial? Or cannot be. I would say no so far. Haas long to pick a jury, right? Yeah, they're thinking like 3 weeks or so. So April 1st as a starting date for trial is like, wishful thinking. Can I poll? Well, it would have to be a poll for each question, I suppose, Fender. You know what I mean? Because like the polls would be like, you have a question and then you pick the options. So we would have to do a poll for each question. So that would be a lot of polls. What we can do is this, since there's not that many people in the chat right now. So for each question, we can do it this way. Put a 1 in the chat for yes, a 2 for no, or a 3 for not sure if you want to. Does that work for y'all? Because and also for each poll, then I would have to like type it up like that would just, and I'm sure there's a character limit as well. DSN is rewriting the jury questionnaire. Love it. So for me so far, I think I would say no, there's nothing that would make me believe I cannot be fair and impartial so far, if I'm pretending I don't know anything about this case. Question number 2, have you already started to make up your mind about this case? Ooh. Okay, again, trying to pretend that I am, well, it's an interesting question, right? So if I'm pretending I'm a prospective juror, I know nothing about this case, but let's just say that I do know everything I know currently about the law and cases, but just not this case. I would take issue with this question, and here's why. Because you should have your mind made up. You should be coming in not guilty, right? So like for me, I'm like, well, I would answer yes, not guilty. But that's why it's a funny question, right? I guess it presumes that jurors don't understand how anything works. So, but if I was being honest, because of what I know about the burden, I would say yes, as in, because it's got to be not guilty, right? They're cloaked in innocence, as Judge Newman would say. Lurking Linda, welcome. We love the lurkers. Glad you are coming in here to weigh in the chat. So, so Fender, interesting. So you're saying for the first question, you would say no, right off the bat from that. Feel free to elaborate. How much info do we have? Pretend we know nothing. Pretend you know nothing, right? Or okay. Let's just say worst case scenario. You can either go with you know nothing, or you can go with you maybe have heard a little bit about it, but not very much. And like that question they always ask, right? Do you think it would influence your ability to be fair and impartial, right? Y'all can go either way on that. Whichever, pretend you're in one of those scenarios, whichever one you want to pick. I'm going with the scenario of like, I don't know anything about this case. Never heard of Karen Reed, but I know I have all my regular knowledge, same as I have. That's how I'm going with it. It's kind of fun, right? So welcome back, Need Some Z's. Only 3 weeks to pick a jury, although Bev said in court the other day that the other court decision would take 10 weeks. So if that's true, Bev could absolutely swear the jury. I'm not sure what you mean, because she said she was going to wait until the decision to swear them in, right? Or are you saying because the trial would be done? I don't think the trial would be done yet, though. I love that DSN is rewriting the questionnaire. Question number 3. Do you generally drive through a military base to destroy your old phone when you're upgrade eligible? Keep these coming, DSN. This is amazing. I wish I could. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to star these, and I'm going to type this up. I'm not even joking. I'm going to type this up after the live stream as a second questionnaire. If you can continue to think of questions for each one of these, DSN, and we're going to make we'll make this into a thing. We'll make this into another juror questionnaire and try to make it look legit. That'll be hilarious. Yeah, I don't remember. How long did they say they expected the trial to take? I don't remember. And I remember thinking, well, did they do a conversion for Judge Bev's days that she, you know what I mean? Like, because it was like half days and they don't come to court on Fridays and whatever else. And basically the number of hours they spent in court in a week was the equivalent of like maybe 1.5 days in a normal trial. So I don't know if they made that, if they did that, they accounted for that when they gave their time for that, whatever their estimate was. So Fender's saying, so for question 1, because of how it's worded, there's no info that will make me. Oh, right. Of course. See, I forgot that it was cannot. So the no, right. Of course. So no was, wait, so I should have said, but you answered. Okay, I think I answered wrong. I meant to say no. It's just like it's a double negative. And so anyway, if I said I was going to put a 1, I meant a 2 for no. Okay, good. Good. You'd probably try and get out of it. Okay. Well, fair. So then I guess your answers probably need to be things the way that you would answer this to make you think you would get kicked out, right? Like answer everything the way that they wouldn't want. I wouldn't doubt that. Need some Z's for sure. Yeah, it needs to be saying, I don't believe Bev for 1 second. You don't think she's planning to swear the jury immediately. Yeah, we're all on the same page with this. I don't trust her as far as I can throw her. It was for everything that Judge Bev was and everything. I'll tell you what, that it was definitely a turning point for me with that motion to dismiss hearing, whichever day that was, the beginning of the month. And then, or as an alternative, like have an evidentiary hearing. I mean, she still hasn't ruled on that, but anyway, yeah, you guys have heard how I feel about that. So then, so Fender's giving us a 4th question. How often do you put evidence in solo cups? Hi, Meg. We got a question for DSN number 4. Have you ever eaten a PB&J in the backseat while being brought home by a drunk driver? Oh, that's a great one. Okay, so let's read the next question. So now we are on question number 3. Do you have opinions regarding previous experiences as a juror, the fairness of the jury system or criminal justice system in our country that would impair your ability to be fair and impartial to both the Commonwealth and defendant? I would probably have to say yes here. Again, because knowing what I know now, even if I know nothing about the case, just knowing what I know now, I do have a lot of thoughts about, like, again, thinking of like a blank slate. Like, I know that most judges tend to be prosecution leaning. And I know that, like, yeah, I don't know. I would say, I don't know. Maybe I would put not sure. Either not sure or yes for me on that one. Because I would feel like the defendant's probably not getting a fair shake no matter what, more than likely. Question number 5. Are a piece missing and smashed to bits logically equivalent to you? These are awesome, DSN. Thank you. I love it. Yeah, y'all are saying same for that question number 3. All right, question number 4. Do you have any I love that the questions in the chat are ahead of the ones on the thing. That's awesome. Okay, question number 4. Do you have any religious or philosophical beliefs that would make it difficult for you to follow the law and come to a verdict in this case? For me, it's religious, no, but philosophical, again, I guess that kind of, for me, has overlap with the previous question about the criminal justice system. I don't know. I'd probably have to put not sure for that one. Oh my God. Yeah. Question number, right? I know it is. They should have just left it at religious. Maybe. I feel like the philosophical is where it gets a little bit more hairy. I mean, I don't know what religious beliefs would, I don't know enough about, like, I don't know what those would be. Do you guys have any ideas? Like, what religious beliefs could people have that would make it feel difficult for them to follow the law? Maybe if they're like, fire and brimstone, like evangelical Christians, where it's like every person needs to go to hell, or I don't know. I have no idea. I shouldn't even be guessing because I don't know. But the philosophical beliefs is like, what? Need some Z's, can't even pretend. That's fair. We're trying to pretend. Okay, so this for anyone who's just now getting here, the game that we're playing is pretend you just don't know anything about the case. So, or that I think maybe the best way to do it is try to pretend. Like, imagine you don't know anything about the case. That's how I'm trying to view it. That I know everything that I know in regular life, but I don't know the case. Welcome, Charlie Lynn. I think it's the first time I've seen you on a live stream, so welcome. She says, if you don't believe the Commonwealth's case, would you try to make up logical explanations for the defendant's guilt? Is that a question for me, or is that a question in the, like a suggestion for a jury question, or like for this questionnaire? You know, in the jury instructions, they're told not to do that. Actually, I was just talking to Twiz about this the other day. And the wording varies by the state, but they're told not to look for reasonable doubt, right? Oh, that's it. Thank you, Fender. Fender says Islam considers alcohol a sin, so that might skew how they view the case. That is, thank you for that. Brilliant. This is why I love y'all, because like I would never have even known that. So, and I didn't see when you became a member, Charlie Lynn, but awesome. Welcome to the membership crew. Oh God, I know. Also, for anyone who's just now joining us, let me know. You can either in the Discord, in the members only thread, or you can in the chat if you want. Let me know your category for the trivia, for those of you guys who haven't heard it. I know that it might seem like I'm saying it all the time, but it's because I want to make sure everybody gets a chance to hear it, right? I don't want anyone to miss out just because they didn't hear me ask the question. So, and not everyone uses Discord, right? So, okay, question number 6 from DSN. When gathering evidence, should party favors and lawn equipment ever be used? Excellent. I love this. I love this. Oh, that's a good point. Mormonism. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, this case is disgusting. And thank you. I'm glad you are. I'm glad you're here. I've seen you leaving comments. I'm just glad you're here for a live stream. That's awesome. First live that well, at least that you've been in the chat, because I always remember people. See your question 6. Hold on. Let me see. Where is it? Did I miss it? Fender. Oh, I did. I missed it. Thank you for pointing that out for me, Fender. Fender's question number 6. Do you believe tech works for everyone except for the defendant, except when we need it to? Okay, so we are all pretty much stumped on question number 4, at least as the philosophical part. It looks like the religious part, we've figured out that kind of does make sense because of the alcohol thing. So appreciate y'all for that. Wait, no, question number 5. We're back to this again. Do you have any religious or philosophical beliefs that would make it difficult for you to be impartial? It seems a bit redundant. I guess I would have to put not sure again, because the philosophical part is what throws me for a loop. This one's a good. So number 6, this case is expected to garner a significant amount of media attention. Is there anything about the high profile nature of this case that would prevent you from serving as a fair and impartial juror? For me, that would be a no. I don't care if it's high profile or not. I would imagine number 7 would eliminate a number of people. Do you, any family members or close friends reside in or conduct regular business in Canton? Reside in? What? Reside in? Hang on. Are they bringing in? What? You guys see this question? Aren't they all going to be residing in Canton? I don't feel like they've talked about bringing in a jury from anywhere else, right? Or is this the trick question where they're supposed to put a yes because they should all be residing in Canton? That's weird. Oh, that could be it. That's a good point. Soft sits. Yeah. So yeah, maybe it is. So like, in other words, this is like, you're supposed to say yes, I guess, to this one. You know, and I don't know how far that is from Canton. I thought the jurors were from Canton, though. Let me just pull this up on Google Maps. Not Goggle. Oh my God. Google Maps thinks I live at 4147 Moselle Road. Not surprising. Canton, Massachusetts. to Dedham. So it's like 17 minutes. Are they in different counties? Let's see. Are they both in Norfolk? Let's see. I mean, if they're in the same, because usually it's done by county anyway, right? So they're both in Norfolk County. Okay, there you go. So basically, it's done by county, right? So that answers the question. So, okay, interesting. So so they're both in Norfolk County. That's what matters, right? So potentially the jury pool could be people from Canton or Dedham and maybe other cities. Let's see what else is in Norfolk. Norfolk. I can't say it the way they do. I mean, let's see. So Norfolk County has, oh my God. Sorry, I did not mean to do that. Oh my gosh. It has a number. I'm trying to click on all these different things. Oh, wow. It's got a lot of cities. Holy shit. What? How does it have that many? You guys, hang on. Hold on. Oh, wait. I'll have to unshare, reshare. There's a fuck ton of cities, though. Like, what? Okay. Here we go. Like, there's more. But wait, there's more. Norfolk, Franklin, Norwood, Millis, Wrentham, Dedham, Medfield, Plainville, Medway, Bellingham, Needham, Canton, Braintree, Sharon, Quincy, Weymouth. Oh my God, they just keep going. How come these ones don't have pictures, though? What does that mean? Oh, now they have pictures. Okay, never mind. Foxborough, Westwood, Dover, Staunton, Randolph, Milton, Cohasset, Holbrook, Brookline, Avon. That is insane. Like where I live, the county has like, I don't know, probably like 3 or 4 maybe. That's crazy. So yeah, so they might be trying to weed them out, right? But they could get pulled in via the being in the county. Say Norfolk. I don't know. That sounds like it. Excellent question. Would you like to sit at a bar or at a high top? Excellent. Question number 8 from DSN. Love it. Welcome, welcome as well to Leslie and Billy. Yeah, Meg P hates the snow. Okay, so now I just have to unshare, reshare. So one of these days, StreamYard will have a different way for this. I feel hopeful where you don't have to do it this way when you're going back and forth. But okay, wait, that's not what I meant to do. Oh my God, fucking hell. Wrong window. Okay, there we go. Okay, so next one, question number 8. Will you automatically believe or disbelieve law enforcement officers, firefighters, or first responders simply because of their occupation? I want to say no. God damn it. But like, again, it's like, I just know too much. I don't know. I might have to put not sure. I would want to be in the middle, maybe between no and not sure, just because I feel bad if I'm like, I don't know. I feel like it should be a no, but like, I don't know. That's a tough one. That's a tough one, guys. What do you think? Right. Cops, yes. Yeah. What is ACAB? Cops, yes. Rest, no. Yeah, I'm with you on that for sure. In my mind, it was the cops. Yeah. Nothing wrong with the firefighters, first responders, and whatnot. I mean, nothing wrong with cops. It's just as far as the question's concerned, right? I mean, law enforcement officers are going to tend to skew a certain way because part of their job, right? Like, you know. Number 10, have you ever been involved in a group, community, or individual activity showing... Oh, wait. Sorry, I skipped number 9. Do you have any strong personal beliefs or have you been exposed to any strong personal beliefs? What? From friends and relatives about law enforcement officers, prosecutors, or the government? This is such a compound question, and I don't even know how to begin with this one. Have you been exposed to strong personal beliefs? What the fuck? Why is that a part of the question? I mean, everyone's exposed to strong personal beliefs from other people. Like, what? I feel like that would eliminate literally every human. I mean, they're going to have a hard time picking a jury, I think, with this question, for sure. Oh, okay. Thank you. Meg says, when I went in for jury duty, a man flat out said he dislikes cops, and no matter what the cop said, he would choose, no matter what the cop he said, he would choose the opposite side. Let's just say he wasn't picked. That's funny. Yeah. Number 10, have you ever been involved in a group, community, or individual activity showing support for law enforcement in or outside your own community? Interesting. I wonder, are they going to be eliminated if they put yes? Like if they support law enforcement, are they going to get kicked out? I can say that that's a no. I've never done that. Because I could see that one being like the defense would probably not want those jurors, right? Like, you know. Did you get to know much about the case, Meg? Welcome back to Fast. Right? Every time an attorney gets in front of the media camera, they give their strong person. Yeah. Robert Leslie's here. We were just talking about you. Welcome, welcome. We were just talking about you. Somebody was asking if it's the real you. We've got our new command for Mr. Leslie here. Oh, that's interesting, Meg. That's interesting. We're just reviewing this jury questionnaire, and one of our scroll friends, DSN, is coming up with an alternative list of jury questions, which I have been saving, and I'm going to compile into another list. And we've also had some other people as well that have been submitting some suggestions. I'll just read some of these real quick here for those of you guys who are just now getting here. We've got, are you a McAlbert? Have you ever answered a butt dial? Do you generally drive through a military base to destroy your old phone when you are upgrade eligible? Have you ever eaten a PB&J in the backseat while being brought home by a drunk driver? Are a piece missing and smashed to bits logically equivalent to you? When gathering evidence, should party favors and lawn equipment ever be used? Do you believe tech works for everyone except for the defendant, except when we need it to? Would you like to sit at the bar or at a high top? See, this just makes me think of Agador Spartacus from the Birdcage. Anybody here seen that movie? I cannot wear shoes in the house because when I wear shoes, I fall down. One of the greatest movies of all time. That is a good one, though, Meg. That's a good one. That's a good one. We've got another one here. When publishing Lolliport video, is it always correct to flip it and reverse it? Wait, we got to add, put the thing down, flip it and reverse it. Yep, the butler. Agador? Spartacus? He wants to be called by both names. I could probably like quote that entire movie start to finish, not even joking. So where we left off on the actual one here is question number 11. Have you ever been involved in a group, community, or individual activity that was critical of the police or law enforcement in or outside of your own community? Individual activity, that's for me is a yes. Like literally right now. I mean, being critical of law enforcement is a good thing, though. Obviously, I would hope that their own bosses are critical of them, right? Fucking hell. Thing down. Yes, it's Missy Elliott. The song is called Work It. Is it worth it? Let me work it. Put your thing down, flip it, and reverse it. I would play it, but then my channel might get taken down because of copyright. Welcome. I think we have a new squirrel friend here, Geo Clerk Jim Clown. Welcome, welcome. I was just wondering if you're going to tell me. Oh my God, I know. That just drove me absolutely. I wanted to strangle her. I'm going to read this verbatim because it's really funny. It says, quote, I was just wondering if you're going to tell me what you're going to tell me and then tell me what you, and then tell me what you've told me. Do you plan on doing that? Well done on that one. Well done. Yes, it is a song. Yes. Are you familiar with Missy Elliott? It's a song from like, I don't know, maybe the early 2000s. You like blues. You have a favorite musician? I can see that. That makes sense. Let us know what you like to listen to. It was so rude. It was so rude. It was unbelievable. It just, you know, it's like, is it that worth it to her? Does she think she's going to save like literally what, 5 seconds of time? But like Brennan can drone on and on and on. And, you know, anyway, Victorine, welcome. I'm with you on that. I hate Bev and I hate hating. Yep. Fender says that was infuriating and I get interrupted for a living. John Lee Hooker. I'm very happy to say I don't know who this is. And why am I happy to say that? Because I'm a musician and it is not oftentimes that I come across an artist that I'm not familiar with. And so this is a rare occasion for me to learn a new musician. So I'm going to write it down. I'm going to listen to this artist, and that is awesome. At least I don't recognize the name. Maybe when I listen, I'll be like, oh yeah, I knew that song, but I don't recognize the name. I'm writing it down. Awesome. Love it. I love getting to learn new music. We've got a question number 12 here. Do you prefer Marlboros or Marlboro Lights with your morning Dunkies medium regular? It's old school. I love old school. Love old school. That's awesome. Okay, where are we on the actual one here? So I think, okay, we're on question number 12, guys. Have you or someone close to you ever had education, training, or work experience in any of the following fields? Law enforcement, military, alcohol, drug abuse, or domestic violence? So it's not have you been in, it's okay. Let me just, so education, training, or work experience. So for me, that is a no. I don't have anybody that I know that is in my family or whatever that's done any of those things as far as education, training, or work. Question number 13, though. Do you have any strong personal beliefs or have you been exposed? The part of having been exposed to is insane to me because everyone's been exposed to, I mean, it's irrelevant, but also it's like, isn't this everybody? It's based on this premise with an assumption that people are always influenced by anything they're exposed to. So I take issue with that from the get-go, the premise of the question. But I'm going to read it. Do you have any strong personal beliefs or have you been exposed to any strong personal beliefs from friends and relatives about operating a motor vehicle under the influence of alcohol? I just think, some of these questions, I just hate the questions. Yeah, Fender. Fender is a psychologist in India for anyone who is just now joining us. I figure probably a lot of people would say yes on number 12, right? I mean, that's pretty common to have somebody, because again, it's just you, even someone close to you. It doesn't even necessarily have to be a family member, it looks like. Have you ever been exposed to, ever revealed yourself? That is fucking hilarious. Right. Yep. Mr. Leslie says, I'm glad you're pointing this out. It's not have you ever been a crime of, but right. Do you have any training in? Yep. Because that's a big distinction, right? Because I mean, I'm sure there will be, I would imagine, I'm not looking ahead, but I would imagine there's going to be a different question that's, pertaining to, being a victim of a crime or on the receiving end of those. I don't know who Tom Petty is. Don't hate me for that. I should have put a caveat on the music thing. A lot of times with like super mainstream artists, I may not know them, or country, maybe not know, probably don't know them. So I don't have those exact ones, but I do have a lot of clips. I do have some new ones, but not those specifically. I mean, the last hearing had so many good, so many incredible moments that it was like hard to even keep track of all of them. I've got,
Your Honor, I can't do this in 2 minutes.
Mr. Brennan said, what if I called in a Massachusetts state police officer to say that this was the best investigation ever? I have 2 words. Do it.
He could be a spokesperson for Nike.
I don't have an answer to that.
Those are the new ones I have. We got question number 13. Have you ever kissed your buddy's girlfriend after a Patriots playoff game? That's another good one. Love it. Question number 14. Do you do administrative work moving cars at 1:30 a.m. after a day of drinking? What about, would you still be alive after? I mean, y'all, how much do you think Higgins had to drink that day? I mean, it was like absurd. I don't even know that we could get a total, but like even a conservative estimate, it's like, would you still be alive after that much alcohol? Do it. Yep. It was so good. Which clip? Was it this one? I bet I know which one it was.
Hard as a rock, freeze-thaw effects on penetrometer resistance. You know, his head's as hard as a rock. They don't even have evidence, let alone a preponderance of the evidence.
Facts. Facts. I love that one. I love it all. Yeah, the other thing, the potato cannon, guys. Brennan, okay. Yeah. Playing parking lot, as AJ called it. That's fucking hilarious. I forgot about that. I mean, Lolly, y'all, Lolly himself, right? We've even got a command for it. It's that anyone that wants to put exclamation point evidence in the chat while I pull this up. I mean, Lolly himself here, guys.
There's no evidence of anything in this case.
Couldn't say it better myself, Lolly. Couldn't say it better myself. All right, so question number 13, we did that one. Okay, on to page 2. Sweet. And don't worry, guys, we're going to be getting very soon here to the Commonwealth's new motion, wherein it's a motion to compel seeking, if you can believe it, Karen and YANETTI'S cell phone communications. Yep. That's what they're asking for. So that's coming right up. I believe it's right after we finish this juror questionnaire, and we're on page 2 of 3. So number 14, have you ever been involved in a group, organization, participated in a march, demonstration, campaign, or donated money on behalf of an organization that was against driving under the influence of alcohol, such as SAD? The fact that it's called SAD, guys. Students Against Drunk Driving, or MAD. Dude, SAD and MAD. Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Yikes. I have not. That's a no for me. Probably don't want those people on the jury. Yeah, Brennan, I know. Who, if anyone, was driving the ambulance? Classic. I know Lolly wasn't corrupt. Yep, I agree. He was, it is, I think a lot of us are in this position where we never thought we'd see the day where we're like, we miss Lolly. Like, we would rather Lolly back. I mean, that takes a lot. I think probably everyone would be like, I couldn't imagine anyone who we would be saying this about, right? Like, who could possibly be worse? Well, yeah, I mean, I've been saying this, and I'm just, for anyone who hasn't, pondered this, I don't see how he's going to be able to go back to being a defense attorney after this, because I think he's become the Commonwealth. And also, I can't imagine anyone wanting to hire him. You know, like, if I were somebody living in Massachusetts charged with, or well, I guess it'd have to be, Massachusetts, right? Charged with the crime. Like, I would not. I'd be like, nope. I mean, he might need to just switch over, now he's on the dark side, maybe I have to just stay there. And it's weird that Lolly's still there and like getting paid, right? To just be courtroom furniture. That's true. He was a little corrupt, but it's just nothing on par with Brennan, man. And Lolly he was always good for a laugh. That is true. By the way, speaking of Lolly and Elaine, so there's Elaine with her spirit hybrid animal situation being chased by the lollybird. And I'll pull the lollybird up so we can see him in all his glory, wearing his closing argument tie, his actual closing argument tie. That was not easy to do, but I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get his closing argument tie, and I'm going to make sure he's wearing it. In my mind, I think it's like his lucky tie that he wore for closing arguments. And he picked a really exciting color, right? Beige. What a choice. The lollybird. We have a command for him as well, of course. Yeah, I know a lot of people would say that they would put Lolly on if they needed to go to sleep, if they're having insomnia. And here's what noise, if anything, is being made, and in reference to the noise, who, if anyone, with respect to the noise, is making it. I'm pretty sure that I took this from an actual question he asked and just swapped the words, whatever the thing was, with noise, and everything else is like verbatim. Okay, so next up, so number 15, has anyone close to you ever been involved in an accident involving drinking and driving? If so, would that experience prevent you from being a fair and impartial juror in this case? And from what I've heard, Vinnie Politan, for example, I guess he's said this on one of his shows, that he has admitted, and at least like admitting it is a good thing, right? But he's admitted that he has like somebody, a close family member or whatever, that's been in a thing, and then that's why he would have a hard time or whatever. But I am lucky enough to not have known anyone close to me that's been injured from that or in an incident. So, I mean, this one, have you or has anyone close to you been involved or witnessed a motor vehicle crash? Yes. I mean, but how many people is this going to rule out, right? I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's not going to automatically rule them out, but like, I feel like most people. Yeah, hi, Franks. I was saying that Vinny, appropriately, I guess, was it you that told me that, Franks? Somebody did. It was on one of his shows or whatever. And I mean, I didn't see it, but somebody relayed that message that he admitted that he had that something that could shade the way he views it, which that's the important thing, right? Like if being aware, it's like self-awareness, right? Of yourself, that you might have something that could make you biased. I mean, that's what this questionnaire is all about, right? Oh, it wasn't you. Maybe it was Super Planner Girl. I don't remember, but yeah, somebody, it was on one of his shows, I guess. So, welcome for anyone else who's just getting here. P. Fox. We've got DSN with another question here. Are you a member of the organizations TODD or CCODD? Troopers Okay with Drunk Driving or Canton Style? I love it. Thank you. Yes. A really great replacement for the Mad and Sad that we just read earlier. Thank you. That's awesome, DSN. You found her to finish her book. Are you writing a book or reading a book? That's awful. I'm sorry for any of you guys who've been in really serious car accidents. Oh, it was on Melanie Little's show that he said that? Okay, thank you, Charlie Lynn. So I guess he was a guest on her show and he said that. I appreciate that, though. So yeah, whoever it was, I guess, saw that and was mentioning that. But I freaking love Vinny. Y'all know I love Vinny. Vinny's my favorite. Okay, so, and it's always, of course, it's like, that's the thing, right? admitting our, again, the self-awareness is first, right? It's like to ourselves, we have to understand where we might have bias, and then we have to be honest with ourselves about it, right? So number 17, is there anything about crash reconstruction testimony? Sorry, I'm just thinking about true or false. That would make it difficult for you to be fair or impartial in this case. For me, that's a no. I mean, as long as it's based on science, right? Which as a prospective juror, they should be assuming it is, right? Oh, he said he'd still acquit. Well, that's awesome. That is awesome that he said he'd still acquit. Good for him. Good for him. Number 18. Have you or any family members or close friends been involved in a domestic violence relationship that featured physical, mental, and or verbal abuse? Unfortunately for me, that is a yes. Y'all don't have to answer that if you don't want to. It's totally optional. This is just for fun. Have you ever been a victim of a violent crime? Yikes. I mean, number 20 would definitely get me ruled out if I wasn't already, which is the part about like the autopsy photographs. I couldn't do it. I'll just go ahead and say that right now. I could not do the autopsy photographs. Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. No way I could do that. I'm so grateful there's people who can. We would be screwed without it. I'm not one of those people. So there's that. So I'll read that one though. So number 20, during trial, you will hear testimony about medical treatment, death, and review. Like medical treatment's fine. Death is fine. But looking at the autopsy pictures, nope. Will that affect your ability to participate and be a fair and impartial juror? Yeah, that's a no for me. Fender said she could do the autopsy photos. That's amazing. We have some more questions here. Do you believe in physics, logic, common sense, evidence, and other things generally based in reality? Can you tell the difference between dog bites and injuries caused by a triple pirouette following an automobile strike? That's amazing. Question 21, you may find a defendant guilty based on circumstantial evidence, but you cannot find a defendant guilty based on speculation, guesswork, or surmise. Sorry, as I'm reading that, I'm like, but literally that's what the Commonwealth is. That's what they're doing. That's literally what they're doing. It's unbelievable. Keep reading. Is it difficult for you to understand the differences between circumstantial evidence, speculation, guesswork, and surmise? Well, they haven't defined it for them, right? They have not been told. They've not been given a definition of circumstantial evidence. I hate this question for so many reasons. It's really compound. It doesn't define circumstantial evidence, but yet it seems like it's so obvious because it's really more about common sense. So it's really kind of insulting at the end of it. Like, I hate this question. I hate this question. Good morning, Candace. Franks, are you referencing there the autopsy photos? I couldn't deal with one unless it was of a part of the body that, like, okay, if it's of a dead person, but it's just like their hand with no injury to it. I don't know. I couldn't, it just depends on how graphic it is. If it's super graphic, I just couldn't do it. Hey, Franks, your command worked finally. See? Nightbot came through for you. Nightbot came through for you. Yay. Nightbot can be temperamental sometimes. It's really funny. Oh my God, I can't type. Question number 20 from DSN here. Are you okay with a little police corruption, assuming they believe she really believes that she did it? I mean, and that's a question that should actually be on the questionnaire, to be honest. That's it right there. That's it. Oh yeah, Fender's seeing if our Brennan command works yet. Not yet. Not yet. It's just so funny because these, y'all, they come and they go. He has certain ones. So hopefully the Brennan command will work by the time trial starts. So, okay, number 22. If the defendant doesn't testify, do you think she is probably guilty or hiding something? That's a definitely obvious no for me. But I could see other prospective jurors who don't know things thinking probably yes, right? Because that's a whole misconception that people tend to have. Number 23. Do you recognize anyone you have seen today in the courthouse or in the jury pool? I don't, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's other people who answer that with a yes. Number 24, would you answer, or would your answers to any of the above questions be embarrassing or damaging if disclosed publicly, or disclosure infringe on your privacy? Okay, no. Any concerns about your personal privacy due to the presence of video cameras in the courtroom and or the highly publicized nature of the case? Well, I hate this question because shouldn't they tell them, because some people may not know, shouldn't they be told first that they're not going to be on camera before asking this question? I hate this. Like, why would you ask this question without telling? Some jurors may not know. And then they might think they're going to be on camera. I want to rewrite this. Over under, how long for Brennan to piss off jury? Oof. It's hard to say because I feel like the case is going to be pretty, well, we don't really know yet. I mean, assuming it's going to be a different case, it's hard to kind of picture like how cross will go during this Commonwealth's case in chief. But what my thought was this, my initial thought was this, that with certain witnesses after a cross from the defense on redirect, right? Like rehabilitating, like for example, the red solo cups. Let's just say that, right? The red solo cups, right? That comes out on cross or whatever. And then Brennan gets up there and tries to make it seem like, you know, to rehabilitate them, like they did everything right. Like that's what I'm picturing. And it's like, that could be a moment where it's like, okay, but it just depends on like the order of witnesses and many things. Question number 21. Have you ever spent more than one night at Bev's Cape House? Oh my God. Hey guys, if Bev was going to like, quote unquote, unwind after a long day, sorry, I said that. And I was like, wait, after a long day in court, which for her is like 4 hours max. And let's just say, this is just for fun, right? That she has an alcoholic beverage. What do you think her drink of choice would be? Let me know in the chat what you think her drink of choice would be. I'm really curious. Frank has a question. Are you easily conned into believing ridiculous conspiracy theories with no evidence? Well, I mean, luckily, the no evidence, we've got that on lock because we've got everybody saying it, right? We've got
They don't even have evidence, let alone a preponderance of the evidence.
And we've got
There's no evidence of anything in this case.
So why are we here then? That's really the question, right? Cheap vodka, that's a good one. Have you all seen Runkle with his gallon? Like he has that like jug, like gallon or 2 gallon or some gallon and jug of vodka, although it's probably in a different measurement because Canada. It's like in a plastic jug. It's really fucking funny. Ooh, that's a good one. White wine with ice cubes. I could see that. A Cape Cod. Is that I don't even know what that is. Is that a drink? A liter of vodka chased with a pint of tequila for You know, even if she drank all that, she still wouldn't be anywhere close to Higgins, would she, on that one? Okay, so then number 26, is there any reason why you do or do not want to serve on this jury? Is that the last question? Oh, we've got a couple more things here. So, okay, now we've got, do you have any knowledge of this case gained from any source? And then if so, what is your source? What are the details you were able to call? So these are like the open-ended questions where they get to fill it in. Are you aware of any specific impact this criminal allegation has had on your community? What is your primary source of news and information? How often do you read news shit? How often are you exposed to news from all this is just the media, right? What is your familiarity with the case prior to today? Have you had discussions about this case prior to today? And then, okay, number 10, is there any reason you'd be unable to follow an instruction that during your jury service you may not? Ooh, the instruction that they can't look at the shit, right? Not read any news or media accounts about this case, watch or listen to any media or news broadcasts or commentary about this case, discuss this case with anyone, research or look this case up on the internet, or perform independent research. And then is there any reason you would be unable to follow an instruction that during your jury service you may not read social media posts, all the other shit, right? Kind of redundant. Number 12, is there any reason that you are inadvertently, that if you are inadvertently exposed to extrajudicial influence or media about this case, you'd be unable to follow instruction that you must report an exposure to a court officer? Crystal Light. Okay. Oh, okay. There's the recipe. Cape Cod, known as the vodka cranberry, a simple and refreshing cocktail that mixes vodka and cranberry juice. It's named after the Massachusetts native town known for its cranberries. DSN, you're the best. Thank you for that. You could be like a commercial. That is hilarious. Yeah, Runkle's VOD. Good job. I freaking love Runkle. Right there. I couldn't quit Scroll Crusoe now. Right. Awesome. I didn't even think about that. I guess technically, did they say, I didn't even read all these specifically because I'm just like all of the things. They didn't say YouTube, but I guess videos, right? We're videos. We're commenting. What was the Matt McCabe in reference to there? Oh my God, I know, right? Dude. I wonder if when Jen McCabe testifies, she's going to do the Banshee sound again. Jen! I can't even do it. She could only say it in the Banshee voice. But guys, guess what? Here we are. It would look, it gets worse. Look, it gets worse. Look, it gets worse. It gets worse. You guys, Commonwealth's motion to compel communications between the defendant and attorney YANETTI'S stored within the defendant's cell phone data. You know how subtly, okay, at the hearing, because this was filed that same day, right? Oh my gosh. The same day, like, hold on, I'm clicking the wrong way. Okay, this was filed the same day, March 21st. Remember at the hearing when Brennan was like, oh, we just filed 2 more motions, and he didn't mention what they were. It was just like kind of sneakadoodled it in like weasel style. Well, this is one of them. Oh, Crystal Light and vodka. Yeah, Matt McCabe, definitely, for sure. Yeah. I don't even know. I just never in my life thought I would see something like this, but here we are. All right. I'm going to need some water. I need my goat ready. Get Herbert. Herbert's my goat. Yeah. Get your goat ready. Herbert is all good to go. All right, buckle up, guys. I've not read this yet. I just have it. And we're taking a first look together. All right. The Commonwealth seeks all texts, emails, or written communications between the defendant, Karen Reed, and attorney David YANETTI restricted to those communications that occurred between January 29th, 2022 and February 2nd, 2022. Footnote 1. Footnote 1. Pursuant to a search warrant, the Commonwealth received the contents of the defendant's cell phone. Because of an observed attorney-client communication, the phone data was provided with the assent of the defense to the Attorney General's office, and a court-ordered taint team protocol was implemented. The Commonwealth received the defendant's phone data with any privileged communications excised. Given the defendant's public waiver of the attorney-client privilege as it pertains to the defendant's conversations with attorney YANETTI on January 29th, 2022, and the following 3 days. Wait, what? Hold on. Hold the fuck on. What? I don't know of this. Was this something that happened at the first trial, before trial, when I wasn't following this case? I'm going to read this part again. Y'all help. What is he talking about? Given the defendant's public waiver? Oh, God. What is he talking about? Is this one of those things where it's based on a false premise? It might be. Public waiver of the attorney-client privilege as it pertains to defense conversations with attorney YANETTI on January 29th, 2022, and the following 3 days. The Commonwealth is entitled to the communications between the defendant and attorney YANETTI for this waived narrow period of time. I wonder if this has something to do with the new documentary, and that would be why I'm not aware. But we will find out, because the next filing after this one has to do with that. So, I mean, I agree. Yeah, I think we need a worse animal for Brennan. Weasels have done nothing wrong. Totally. Gutter rat. Good suggestion there. It's also alleged that Brennan had the motion about Turtle Boy and Karen's convos heard in a different court because Karen is supposed to attend all hearings. And if she doesn't, she could have bail revoked. But weren't they in the same court, though? The same courtroom? By the way, for anyone who hasn't seen it, y'all, I did a video. I should have mentioned this earlier. I did a video of their epic entrance into the Turtle Boy part of that hearing. If you go to my channel and you just click on videos, it should be the one like at the very top. And it's to Damn It Feels Good to Be a Gangster. And it's epic. It's so good. It will make me laugh and smile no matter what, honestly. And the thing is this, I would put it up and play it on every single stream. However, it will get my channel like completely taken the fuck apart, because it popped up immediately as like, no, like it's like the big, all of the red things. Now it's like, they're not taking action or whatever, but it's basically like, I don't know. It makes me scared to use it. Otherwise, I'd put it on every live stream. So basically that one video is there. You guys can watch it and enjoy it. And it's really fucking funny. But that's why I'm not playing it now, is that's why. But you guys should just check it out because it's hilarious. Y'all will love it. The timing was really good with the way they walk and the music. Okay, so that is it. She talked about it in the documentary. Okay, there it is. Thank you guys again. I haven't seen it. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Thanks. Right. I don't know who Joe Flipperhead is, though. But honestly, I can't picture it any other way besides, damn, it feels good to be a gangster. Have any of you guys watched it? Okay, so we read footnote 1, so we'll go back up here. The privilege holder, Karen Reed, has waived her attorney-client privilege with the attorney Yanetti relative to any statements about her collision with John O'Keefe during the time of January 29th, 2022 through February 2nd, 2022. The defendant voluntarily and intentionally disclosed the existence of these communications and her initial thoughts about her culpability for causing the death of John O'Keefe during various public interviews. The communications confirmed by the defendant to exist are no longer privileged nor confidential because the defendant chose to widely and publicly disseminate them. Footnote 2. To ensure that only the communications that were waived are provided, the Commonwealth requests that this honorable court review in camera all text messages and written communications stored in the defendant's phone data for the time between January 29th, 2022 and February 2nd, 2022. And by the way, I just want to say shout out to DSN for this one. I believe what he said whenever it says honorable court, I believe he had made the suggestion in chat one day of like barely honorable. It was something along those lines. And I was like, that's from now on, that's how I think of it when I read those things. I like when I'm reading this, I substitute it with like barely. I mean, I could say dishonorable, but I think barely honorable is funnier. So even if it's less accurate. In support of this motion, the Commonwealth acknowledges and respects that the attorney-client privilege protects privileged communications between client and his or her attorney. Massachusetts Rules of Evidence 523 provides waiver of privilege. So who can waive? A privilege holder or the holder's legally appointed guardian, administrator, executor, or heirs can waive the privilege. Conduct constituting waiver, except as provided in Section 524, privileged matter disclosed erroneously or without opportunity to claim privilege. A privilege is waived if the person upon whom this article confers a privilege against disclosure 1. voluntarily discloses or consents to the disclosure of any significant part of the privileged matter, or 2. introduces privileged communications as an element or claim of a defense. I agree with this. DSN saying, why would her attorneys allow her to do so much press, so much downside? Totally agree. Totally agree. I mean, maybe, you know, they can't stop her, I guess. This is me just trying to think, well, you know, technically it's her choice. Maybe they tried to stop her. Maybe they didn't. I don't know. I don't know that they tried to stop her. I guess that's really what it would be for me. I don't know that they tried to stop her. Maybe they, you know, and maybe they should have. I agree with that. It was called in front of a different judge. Yeah, I mean, it looked like the same courtroom to me, you know, but it was in front of a different judge when it should have been heard. Okay. Oh, to get money. Oh, you mean like raising people, like donating money? Is that what you think, Fender? Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I've heard mixed things on that. I've heard from some, I don't know. You know, I don't know if that we'll ever know the answer to this, but I've seen, I don't know where I learned this. Wherever it was, you guys probably have heard it too, right? But that like, they don't pay you for that shit. Maybe for a documentary, but not for interviews, because it like destroys the whole premise of it, right? Like it's no longer like a credible, what's the word I'm looking for? Candid, you know what I mean? It's like if you're paid for the interview, then the interview is basically pointless type thing. But documentaries, I could see people maybe getting paid. And I agree with this 100%, Gwennon. I'm 100% certain of that as well. She says, I think they thought the trial would be over before the document. Yep, 100%. And again, I haven't seen it, but from what I've heard, the way they talk in the documentary is like they're 100% positive she's going to be acquitted. Is that true? For any of you guys that have seen it, is that accurate? But you could see how if that was their mentality, which I understand, if that's like, that makes sense, right? That makes sense. That's why they thought that. That then being so sure of it and then making this documentary would seem like a victory thing, right? If it comes out after she's acquitted and they were right, if that makes sense. Right. Yeah, we're about to cover that one after this one, Needs and Z's, with the footage from the documentary. Yeah. Black Widow's just saying, why are you just saying hi? I mean, if you're busy, I understand, but we love you. I know you're moving and everything. You got a lot going on, but we love you. I was actually talking about you just a few minutes ago, or at the beginning of the live stream, Black Widow. We were talking about Ireland, and I was saying how much I love you. Okay, DSN's weighing in. I saw part 1 of the documentary. Yeah, they did seem to be talking in past tense, assuming acquittal. That really sucks for them, though, doesn't it? You know what I mean? It's too bad they couldn't be like, hey, can you not, I don't know, air it? Or like, can you edit that out? Or I don't know. Like, that sucks. Okay, so conduct not constituting waiver. A person upon whom this article confers a privilege against disclosure does not waive the privilege if 1, the person merely testifies as to events which were a topic of a privileged communication, or 2, there's an unintentional disclosure of a privileged communication and reasonable precautions were taken to prevent the disclosure. In this case, the privilege holder, the defendant, has clearly and intentionally waived her attorney-client. And again, to that end, right, I don't know yet what happened because I'm just getting into these documents. Again, I haven't seen the documentary, but you could see how, again, if she thought she was going to be acquitted, this wouldn't be a problem, right? Waived her attorney-client privilege regarding specific conversations she had with attorney Yannetti regarding the collision between her vehicle and John O'Keefe. For example, in the defendant's recorded interview with Gretchen Voss, the defendant concedes, question, you never said, did I hit him? I hit him. Answer, could I? Did I? Could I? Did I hit him? And then, you know, when I talked to David, and now this is later, David said, Karen, if you incapacitated him in any way, there's capability there. Is that a typo? That's probably supposed to say culpability. I'm sure it's supposed to say culpability. I'm going to fix it. There's culpability there. And I thought, all right, maybe this is what maybe I said to my mother, just to go forward a second. They were asking me, what the hell? Hold on. This is very confusing. Hold on. I'm trying to figure out who's saying what now. So this is Karen talking. And so this is Karen saying to Gretchen. And then, you know, when I talked to David, now this is later, David said, Karen, if you incapacitated him in any way, there's culpability there. And I thought, all right, maybe this is what maybe I said to my mother, just to go forward a second. They were asking me, what was it like? Did they come out? Look at the punctuation. What is going on? What was the house like? Huh? What is she talking about? I don't understand this. This doesn't make any sense. Is there like an edit here in the doc? No, this is not in the documentary. This is in the recorded interview with Gretchen Voss. I'm so confused. This doesn't make any sense. What is happening? Black Widow with a $1 million question. Why is this also going on when the experts said he wasn't hit by a car? You got me. Bias, corruption, I mean, grossness. You're definitely not wrong. You're definitely not wrong, Bender, on that one. So what I'm confused about, though, is like, what is she saying? So she's talking about, she's saying what Yannetti told her. Karen, if you incapacitated him in any way, right? But then she switches this, I said to my mother, and then what's this to go forward a second and then talking about the house? I just don't understand. What was it like? Did they come? And like, look at the capital D there. Did he copy and paste this and leave words out? Or I don't know. Cause like because the capital D makes it seem like maybe this is from a new sentence. And then that would make sense as to why, like, we're missing something here. I'm missing something anyway. What was the house like? I'm so confused. I mean, and maybe when she says it, it makes sense, but it doesn't make sense reading it to me. Attorney Yannetti, Attorney Jackson, and Attorney Little were in attendance along with the defendant and Ms. Voss. Second, in a Vanity Fair article entitled Karen Reed Tells Her Story Part 1, a murder trial in Massachusetts, with a caption, as Karen Reed's second murder trial looms, she's ready to talk about what she says really happened. She shouldn't be doing that. Sorry, this is a personal opinion. Don't talk about it. Published on October 29, 2024, the defendant, who according to the publication was notably aware that anything she said could be used against her, volunteered a rumor that alleged representations made by the Massachusetts State Police that there is a text message between her and counsel that implicates herself is a provable lie. Again, this is not her. This is Hank. And this is a very terribly worded sentence. And it's also a run. Okay, y'all, look at how long this entire, okay. This entire paragraph is one sentence. Let's just start with that. This entire paragraph is one sentence. I'm going to read it again. Second, in a Vanity Fair article entitled Karen Reed Tells Her Story Part 1, a murder trial in Massachusetts, with a caption, as Karen Reed's second murder trial looms, she's ready to talk about what she says really happens, published on October 29th, 2024, the defendant, who according to the publication was notably aware that anything she said could be used against her, volunteered a rumor that alleged representations made by the Massachusetts State Police that there is text message, and there's problems here. It should be either is a or there are text messages, plural. That I'm going to read it verbatim. That there is text message between her and counsel that implicates herself is a provable lie. This makes literally no sense. She volunteered a rumor that alleged representations made by the Massachusetts State Police that there is text message between her and counsel that implicates herself is a provable lie. Okay, I understand it, but this is like a mess, an absolute fucking mess. I could actually reword this and make it a lot better, but I'm not going to waste the time. Like, oh my God, what a fucking mess of a sentence / paragraph. Wow. Third, in the now airing 5-part docuseries on investigation discovery in HBO Max entitled A Body in the Snow, The Trial of Karen Reed, the defendant professes, and then when I hired David Yannetti, I asked him those questions the night of January 29th. Like, David, what if I ran his foot over, or what if I clipped him in the knee and he passed out, or went to care for himself and he threw up or passed out? And David said, yeah, then you have some element of culpability. So that's how I thought about things for about 3 days. The privilege holder is the defendant, and the defendant intentionally waived her privilege by disclosing her conversations to a nationwide audience with her attorney. Wait a second. Okay, hold on. We got to go back to the thing he cited here. So, she's disclosing the contents of their conversations, which to me, and I'm sure to all of you guys, is completely different than being turned over the actual text messages, right? Because I guarantee you she's not getting it verbatim. Why would she need to, right? I'm going to fall back on the disclosure that she agreed to, or consented to, rather, what she consented to. I believe what it said she consented to was that anything she said could be used against her, right? What she says could be used against her, right? Very different. Her statements, right? Conduct not constituting waiver. So this means it's not constituting waiver. This is insane. Look at this first one, guys, right? This is why I went back to this. Conduct not constituting waiver. They don't waive privilege if, 1, the person merely testifies as to events which were a topic of privileged communication. Isn't that literally what we're looking at here? I don't understand. That's literally what this is, right? Unless I just need to keep reading. But and then the part about her consent. Right. Again, so I was right about all this. Her consent was notably aware that anything she said could be used against her. Anything she says, statements. How is he getting to get the text message? Like, this is insanity. Oh my God. Oh my God. I mean, I just thought I must have made a mistake because I'm like, hang on, because he provided the rule. And I'm like, but the rule literally is saying this does not constitute waiver. Okay. Wow. Okay. This is where we were. The privilege holder is the defendant, and the defendant intentionally waived her privilege by disclosing her conversations to a nationwide audience with her attorney. The attorney-client privilege can be waived only by the client. In addition to okay, all right, go. Yep. So well, okay. I don't think it matters. So she talked about their conversations. I don't think it matters whether the conversations she was talking about were had in person, over the phone, or through text messages. I don't see how you get to then getting those text messages no matter what. You're saying yes about which thing needs some Z's. I'm going to lose my mind. Like, yes, they're entitled to the statements from the documentary, right? Definitely. We know that. We know they're going to get that. But the text messages or the emails or whatever other communications themselves, how the fuck? Okay. In addition to rendering the communications non-privileged, the communications are relevant as admissions and statements of the defendant. You can have the statements. This is what he wants to add the communications. This is insane. These, okay, Denise forgot what you were in. I'm sorry. I don't know if that was from a little while ago, but, or maybe the goat distracted you. I'm sorry if that's what happened. If you remember, let me know. In addition to rendering the communications non-privileged, the communications are relevant as admissions and statements of the defendant. These statements are admissible substantively, and attorney unity statements to the defendant are admissible pertaining to the defendant's state of mind. Also, the defendant's admissions and attorney unity statements are relevant to challenge the defense's later purported claims of third-party culpability. How? The communications have relevance to rebut the defense's potential claims that some other person committed the... How do you know what's in the communications? You haven't seen them. I'm going to... Remember, he hasn't seen the communications, right? Okay. He has not seen them. The communications have relevance to rebut the defense's potential claims that some other person committed the crimes that caused the death of John O'Keefe. Moreover, the defense has suggested that as part of its defense, it is likely to pursue a Bowden-type defense. The potential evidence is relevant to rebut claims of law enforcement contrivance. How do you know what's in the text messages, you motherfucker? I know. It's just fucking sad. It's sad. And they'll, by the way, so the last page of that is just him signing it and saying on the pain of perjury or whatever. So I didn't bother to fucking include it because I hate him. Right. He should be saying may have relevance. Correct. Yes. And honestly, in other cases where there's been situations where there's like potential attorney-client, anything really, right? Anything where the Commonwealth doesn't automatically have the right to see it, right? Every single time, the process is you have somebody who's like not involved, right? Like we're talking like taint, right? They go through it and they are able to then, and sometimes it's done like in camera, but they go through it and they determine if there's any relevance before they turn it over, because they don't know until it's gone through, and it can't be gone through until anything that's privileged is removed, right? Oh, I clicked accidentally forward, I think. What did I do? Oh, I did. I clicked. Okay. All right. No, wait. Hold on. Contrivance. Okay. This is where we are. All right. Oh my God. Affidavit of Special Prosecutor Hank Brennan in support of Commonwealth's motion to compel non-privileged communication stored in the defendant's cell phone data. My name is Hank Brennan. I've been appointed special prosecutor assigned as lead counsel for the case. We know. Okay. I've reviewed several public statements made by the defendant relative to this case. I mean, I will just say this much. There's so many problems with this. Just one, like, first thing A. Someone can say that some communication transpired or make a reference to a text message, and they could accidentally get things wrong, right? B, people could actually be making things up. I'm not saying that's what's happening here. I'm just saying they could say that there's a text message that exists about something, and it might not exist. Just had to get that out of the way. All right, number 2, I've reviewed several public statements made by the defendant relative to this case, including but not limited to the defendant's interview with Gretchen Voss and her appearance on an ongoing documentary. Oh, is it ongoing? 3, the Commonwealth intends on introducing and number, should say a number, not and number. A number of the defendant's statements, including the statements included in the attached motion. 4, pursuant to a search warrant, the Commonwealth is in possession of the defendant's cell phone data. The data is subject to a taint team protocol, and redacted communications are not available to undersigned counsel for review. 5, undersigned counsel requests this court review any redacted communications ex parte. Okay, the ex parte, like that's normally the avenue this would go. But the thing is this, though. If it's okay, another thing, right? If these are statements about her level of culpability and it's communications between her and Yannetti, how the fuck would it not be the redacted portion, right? Like, in other words, the things that he wants are the things that literally are attorney-client privilege that would be redacted. So I don't understand this at all for so many fucking reasons. Okay, taint team protocol and any redacted communications are not available, right? So, like, that's my point, though, right? Is like, what if it's just like, what are you having for lunch? Is that what he wants? You know what I mean? Are not available to undersigned counsel for review. Number 5, undersigned counsel requests this court review any redacted communications ex parte and provide the Commonwealth all relevant non-privileged communications as requested in the attached motion. Again, in my view, anything that, like, the shit he wants is the shit that would be privileged anyway. Number 6, I believe the communications requested are non-privileged because the discussions with Attorney Yannetti during the requested time frame and subject matter of the defendant striking John O'Keefe have been intentionally disclosed to the public. Right. I forgot about that part. He's trying to say none of it's privileged. That's right. I forgot about that part because that makes no sense and is illogical and irrational. And I'm going to read this again. And also, he's saying, I believe. You've got to be fucking kidding me. I believe the communications requested are non-privileged because the discussions with Attorney Yannetti during the requested time frame and subject matter of the defendant striking John O'Keefe have been intentionally disclosed to the public by the privilege holder and are no longer confidential. This is insane. So he's saying he should get all of it. Nothing's privileged. So in other words, all of this bit about the taint team and whatnot, he's saying, well, now that you've spent the time reading this, just delete all that because none of it's privileged. I get all of it. That's what he's saying. Just because she referenced it. Made statements referencing. Like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. I'm going to lose my mind. Okay. All right. That's his affidavit. That's that. Next, Commonwealth's motion for let's keep reading. Commonwealth's motion for records, Unsolved Productions Incorporated. Now comes the Commonwealth. Oh my God, I cannot even. And then here we go. Ordering the keepers of the records of Unsolved Productions to produce to the criminal clerk's office all unedited video and audio recordings in possession of the thing. From the docuseries Body in the Snow, the trial of Karen Reed. I mean, all of this, remember all the shit that they went through with Gretchen Voss and all the other articles and all the other journalists and all that and how long that took and all the other attorneys that got involved and what a process it was? How are they going to have time for any of this? In support of its motion, the Commonwealth states the following. Because let me just pause. I want to reiterate that by doing the part of the trouble here, right, is even if Judge Bev is like, granted, you've got third parties, right? And they have their own right because, like we saw this with Gretchen Voss, for example, they're going to have their own counsel for the production company and whoever it was that interviewed her. And again, I haven't seen it, so I don't know. But like now you're involving all these other third parties. So even if Judge Bev wants to just say, yeah, fuck Karen, I don't care, it's coming in. I don't see how this is going to have time for this. Okay. In support of its motion, the Commonwealth states the following. On June 9th, 2022, the defendant was indicted. Kit Smits is here. Yay. Awesome. Was indicted by a Norfolk grand jury. We know. Okay. Number 2, a jury trial, and all 3 indictments began on April 16th, 2024. Following, okay, we don't need to read all of this because we can read this part. The defendant's retrial is scheduled to begin on April 1st, 2025. However, the Commonwealth has assented to the defendant's request to temporarily delay the trial, due in part to the defendant's appeal to the First Circuit Court of Appeals. On March 17th, 2025, March 18th, 2025, and March 19th, 2025, Investigation Discovery and HBO Max aired a 5-part docuseries entitled A Body in the Snow, The Trial of Kearney. The aired docuseries is approximately 4.5 hours of a behind-the-scenes, in scare quotes, look at the defense team as it prepares for the April 2024 jury trial, and features extensive interviews with the defendant, Karen Reed, attorney Alan Jackson, attorney David Yannetti, and attorney Elizabeth Little. Number 4, Terry Muir, president of Unsolved Productions and the producer of the 5-part docuseries, who undoubtedly has a whole slew of attorneys who's going to now be getting involved with this shit, has described in media interviews that the access to the defendant and her team was unprecedented. As part of this docuseries, the period should be before the quote. Anyway, the defendant and her counsel permitted cameras to record their trial preparation sessions in the war room. The car rides to and from court where the defendant and her counsel's, there's so many errors in both of these documents, discuss upcoming testimonies and trial strategies, often commenting on the evidence, prosecutor, or the court, and one-on-one interviews with the defendant and defense counsels. Right? I know. For anyone who missed it when we went over that hearing, one of the things I loved about that is, for me, Mr. Lessie, if you're still listening, let me know. I interpret that as a subtle nod of also to Judge Bev, right? I don't know that that's how he meant it, but literally that's how I took it, as it has several different layers of relevancy here in this case. Also, Kitsmith, did you put in the Discord your category for trivia? I haven't checked. I haven't actually looked yet today, so maybe you have. But if you haven't, make sure you do that as well when you have a chance, or you can put it in the chat and I can write it down. Okay, so number 5, every statement made by the defendant pertaining to the facts and circumstances surrounding the death of John O'Keefe is relevant and evidentiary, especially given the nature of past statements made by the defendant. Yeah, the thing is this, right? The statements, that's fair game. She knows when she makes those statements to do these things, right? But again, part of the trouble is, how the fuck are they going to have time, because of the third parties that have their own interests here that are going to want to bring in? I don't know how they're going to do that. But all of that pales in comparison to the fucking thing with the text messages. I just can't. That is the grossest thing I've seen in filing. Well, let's say it's like a 10-way tie, probably. In this 5-part docuseries, the defendant again makes inconsistent statements with previous statements she had made to law enforcement witnesses, and most revealing, to other media reporters during other voluntary interviews. For example, the defendant now claims that she unequivocally saw John O'Keefe enter 34 Fairview Road and admits to consuming large amounts of vodka being significantly impaired. I know it's literally 9 days, because I always count it and put it in the descriptions of these videos. Her position, even within this 5-part docuseries, wavers from a claim that she remembers every detail from January 29th to admissions that maybe her memory wasn't as clear as when she had been drinking. The defendant confirms animosity in her relationship, confirms the altercation with Marietta Sullivan in Aruba. Who gives a shit? They're not even calling those witnesses. Confirms her flirtatious text with Brian Higgins, confirms that she was angry with John O'Keefe, and convinced that John may have been cheating on her with the other women who gives it, dude? And he put women plural. That could be a typo. That could be him on purpose. But as far as we know, it was just supposed to, and again, I haven't seen this, but it was just that one lady, right? The Bella child's mom. The defendant further discusses going to John O'Keefe's residence during the late morning of January 29, 2022, and mocks Mrs. O'Keefe's opinion that John, quote, looked like he'd been hit by a car, end quote. Well, he doesn't. Number 8, contrary to representations made to the court on March 18th, 2025, the defendant admits on March 17th aired episodes that she used, on the March 17th aired episodes that she used an intermediary to share discovery with Aidan Kearney. Then with permission of her defense counsels, Then with permission of her defense counsels, shared public information presumably all discovery provided to the defense that would ordinarily not be deemed public due to the investigatory nature of the process. Well, if that's true, I'm saying, if that's true, right? That could be a problem. Investigatory nature of the prosecution of Mr. Kearney. Mr. Kearney then used this material to advance the defendant's narrative and direct harassment of witnesses. We're back to this again. She further admitted that she spoke with Mr. Kearney regularly about her case. Further, contrary to representations made to this court, he really wants to get this whole thing with her and Turtle Boy and make her, he really wants Karen to be involved in harassing witnesses. I don't know why that's like, that seems to be like one of his biggest concerns. I would say one of his biggest concerns, right? So trying to prove that Karen is with Turtle Boy harassing witnesses. And number two, stop ARCA from coming in. What do you guys think? Right. I know. And how many things y'all during that hearing did Judge Bev say, oh, we'll do it later. We'll do it later. We'll do it later. I'm like, holy fuck. I mean, like it blew my mind because I'm like, we all know she's not going to stay late. We all know she's not going to give 5 minutes extra of time. And I can just, anything that they don't get to, she's going to be like, we didn't get to it. And then she's just going to roll. That's what I think is going to happen there. So Niece's ARCA is his number one concern. Yeah, no, I would agree with that. It's just the thing that is surprising to me is like that he is so hung up on this whole thing with the Turtle Boy and the witnesses, like of all the things, right? Like he really, really, really wants that. It's just weird. It's like, I don't know what his deal is with that, honestly. It's like, dude, what about like trying to prove your case, like beyond a reasonable doubt? I mean, I guess maybe he gave up on that. So he's, I don't know. I know it's insane. Okay. So further, contrary to the representations made to this court on the March 18th, 2025 episodes, the defendant expressed reckless indifference that the witnesses, many who came to the defendant's aid, have been intimidated and came to her aid? What? Many who came to the defendant's aid have been intimidated and harassed, and the defendant stated that, quote, Jen McCabe, it's me or her. Either I'm going down, Jen, or you are, end quote. I don't see anything wrong with that. Jen's the worst. Number 9, in this 5-part docuseries, this 5-part docuseries is also ripe of new information. Shouldn't say ripe with, anyway. Previously unknown to the Commonwealth. For example, the defendant's statement that John O'Keefe exited. That's my fault. That's actually not a typo. I misread that. Exited her vehicle, holding her vodka soda drink that she clearly saw. Wait, but okay. Is he trying to say, well, I guess he's trying to say that she said, this is a lot of hearsay, but that when he was carrying a drink, when he walked out, that was her drink? Because she was not holding a drink when she walked out, right, guys? I don't remember. I don't think she was. It was him. So is this that it was supposed to be like it was her drink? Because we saw him drink out of it, though. Anyway, that she clearly saw John's body from Carrie Roberts' vehicle, and that she pulled a small piece of glass from John O'Keefe's nose. I mean, it could have been ice, honestly. Yeah. I mean, that's absolutely true. Brennan doesn't prove his points. Nope. Niece says the Turtle Boy thing would get Karen's bail revoked before trial, so she'd be brought in from jail every day rather than on her own, and would get Turtle Boy to stop talking about the case and those responsible. I mean, yeah, but like, honestly, doesn't like he's putting so much time, energy, and effort, and like, I think emotion, honestly, like he's emotionally caught up in this for like, that's the result. You know what I mean? Like, what if he took all of that and put it into something else for the case, right? You know what I mean? Like, why is that like triage, right? Or like your level of priorities? Like, why is that like ARCA? I understand why he doesn't want ARCA to come in. As much as that is ridiculous and ARCA, you know, like I understand, like it would make sense. Okay, let me put it this way. It makes sense if you're the Commonwealth that your number one priority would be to keep ARCA out. That makes sense. That makes sense. This to me doesn't seem worth what he's doing. The time, the energy, whatever, being emotionally invested in it or whatever it is. Or maybe it's just wanting to be right, you know, or not wanting to be not wanting to lose, right? It's almost like a competition or something. It's just weird. Right? He was, Mr. Alessi would know. Mr. Alessi, where are you? See, now you're making me second guess it, so I'm not sure. I'll let somebody else weigh in on that if he was face down or face up. Oh, that's a good point, Fender. She says we don't know because Karen was the first one up, and I don't trust Jen to tell me that today is Sunday. Right. Right. And Kidsmiths, it's ridiculous that we're still confused. Yep. It's ridiculous that we're still confused on that. I mean, yeah. Yeah. Okay. I think Jen said face down. Okay, so seems like Jen said face down. That seems to be the general consensus. All right. Okay, so number 10, the defendant further reveals that her initial beliefs in the immediate aftermath of John O'Keefe's death, stating to attorney YANETTI and waiving any associated privileges, quote, what if I ran his foot over, or what if I clipped him in the knee and he passed out, or what if, or went to care for himself and he threw up or passed out. I will say that if the last one is just he was drunk and he went to go throw up and he passed out, then she obviously doesn't have any culpability there, right? Anyway, especially if she thought he went in the house, right? Anyway, number 11, the defendant has repeatedly used the media to promote her position, explicitly stating in a Vanity Fair article, quote, if I can get the entire truth as articulated by the defendant of, I guess he added that, which isn't necessary because it's quoting her and everybody knows what that means, right? I'm going to remove that part. If I can get the entire truth of this case out in the public forum, that to me is priceless. During this 5-part docuseries, the defendant declares that doing this film is my testimony. I want to say what happened exactly as it happened. Right, but see, this is the thing. It's like, I take issue with this because, like, you shouldn't be doing this. You could take the stand, although I would advise against that, also doing this. Now, after the fact, after the acquittal, or whatever the case is, right, like, it's just, this to me is really clear they were not anticipating a retrial. I don't blame them, right? But it's like, maybe we could have had a little more foresight. Anyway, doing this film is my testimony. I want to see what happened exactly as it happened. This trial by media strategy has repeatedly been employed by the defendant and defense counsels for over 3 years. Oh, okay. In the chat, Fender, it's just when I'm reading, it's a lot harder to read the chat. So I'm sorry if I miss anybody's messages. I'm sure I've missed a lot of things because it's just, I'm looking at I have a second screen over here with the documents and that's what I'm looking at. Chat's on another different screen. Okay, and I see Neeson Z's was confirming that Karen was not holding the glass and John was. Okay, that's what I thought. Thank you for letting me know that that was an accurate recollection. Fender says, here's what I don't get. Why is Jen part of the cover-up? What's her motivation? Is it just to hide that Allie picked Colin up and then they put him and his phone outside? I couldn't tell you. I have no idea. If she's innocent, I don't see a problem with Karen using the media or social media, except it does. Right. And that's why. That's the only reason why. That's the only reason why. Yep. Because now we're seeing that maybe there could be you know what I mean? Like the question would be like, does she, in hindsight, wish she didn't do it? Right. That's the only reason I would say. And the thing is like, the problem would be assuming there's, I mean, again, I understand why they assumed there would be an acquittal and didn't assume there'd be a retrial, but maybe the cautious thing to do would have been, let's not make those assumptions, right? I mean, I don't know. Yeah, and I've been wondering, y'all weigh in on this as well if you want to. I've been wondering this myself too, if she might take the stand this time. It would be interesting. And every prosecutor's trial by media, yes. I mean, 100% agree. Yep. Don't think they ever met. Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. That they assume she would be, but the thing is like, yeah, but if they did think hung jury, then they should have been maybe thinking that there could be a retrial, right? Okay, we've got a request for some goating, some goatage. Ask and you shall receive, because I love you guys and we try to make dreams happen here, right? Herbert, thank you, Herbert. Thank you, Herbert, for being our voices right now in a time of need. Thank you, Herbert. Thank you. He's the best. Also, shout out to Kitsmits, because it was Kitsmits's idea that I get a goat, and she was there and sent in a super chat that specifically was like for the goat and like told me where I could go get it. And anyway, I don't think I would have ever even got a goat or known I could have gotten a goat were it not for Kitsmits. So thank you, Kitsmits. Yeah, Kitsmits says, I do think it's risky for her to be making so many public statements. Even innocent people can make statements that can. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Needs some is weighing in on the question that Fender had about, what was it? Why is Jen part of the cover-up? Okay. Numerous theories, really. Her daughter driving Colin away from the scene. This happening at her sister's home, or her husband or herself possibly being involved in some way besides being there. So yeah, lots of reasons, I suppose, really is what it comes down to. I mean, she's a McAlber, right? Oh, I did miss this text, Fender. Thank you. Fender says they apparently tried to delay the release of the document. That I don't blame them. That makes sense. I don't blame them. Yep. Well, one of our wonderful squirrel friends, I believe it was ABC's docket. Shout out to ABC's docket. Put a link in the chat in the in the Discord, in just the Squirrel Crew section, with this exact goat that you can get on Amazon for anyone that needs a comfort goat. Again, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Apparently there's a Christmas goat because Runkle has one. So if anybody sees that, let me know. I would love to have a Christmas goat. Fender wants a real goat to throw at Brennan. Yeah, don't blame you on that one. But it would be animal cruelty. Yeah, that's true. That is true. It would be animal cruelty. Yeah. Oh, that's so funny. Wait, are you saying you hadn't met her here, but you met her there and you didn't know she was also she's here all the time. And she shout out to ABC's docket. That'd be really funny if you guys didn't meet here, but you met there when you guys are both squirrels. That's hilarious. If that happened. You know what's funny is there was one day when I was driving to the store and I was listening to EDB on replay. I don't even remember what it was, but she was reading a super chat or whatever, and I heard her say ABC's doc, and I was like, oh, ABC's doc. Okay, you met her there also. That's awesome. Squirrel sighting in the wild. It'll happen. It'll definitely happen. There's a lot of people in the squirrel crew that know each other and come in and they're like, knew each other from other places and stuff, which I love. And the other thing that people say is they try to use the commands in other chats and then they forget it doesn't work. It's really funny. Okay, so the Commonwealth is entitled to, and justice dictates, production of the defendant's own statements. This could have been, the punctuation here is terrible. I'm gonna read it again. Commonwealth is entitled to, add a comma in your brains, and justice dictates, comma, production of the defendant's own statements, particularly as proclaimed to be what exactly happened. Honestly, it's a really terrible sentence. Is it? No, that is supposed to be the start of a sentence. Oh my God. Okay. The Commonwealth is entitled to, and justice dictates, production of the defendant's own statements, particularly as proclaimed to be what exactly happened, what exactly is in scare quotes. Number 12, in the defendant's various media interviews, she contradicts her own statements and makes admissions that the victim did not appear mortally wounded, that she thought she clipped and unknowingly incapacitated the victim. Further statements are likely relevant when compared to past statements. The defendant's statements are not hearsay. How are they not hearsay? How are they not hearsay? and are instead substantive evidence admitted for its full force proof. I mean, what's so funny is he should be saying why it's not hearsay, but he doesn't. This is insane. You're not even saying how it's not hearsay, though. What is wrong with, what is happening? Has he gotten so spoiled with Judge Bev that he forgot how to do the job of an attorney? Okay, keep reading. When a defendant deliberately undertakes a public relations campaign and saturates the public and the potential jury pool with statements likely to reach the potential juror pool, they also run the risk that statements may not be beneficial and be incriminatory. This is so poorly written. It's also crazy. The helpfulness or unhelpfulness of the statement does not direct legal basis for disclosure. How is it not hearsay? Anyway, the unaired statements made by the defendant and her counsels will be relevant and material to put the relevant aired statements, many which will be introduced at trial, in context. Further, the absence of details provided in the unaired footage is fertile grounds for examination of witnesses at trial. Oh my God. Oh my God. Kane, hello, welcome. Oh yeah, we had some goat screaming going on. Vegetables are all good. I love that. Justice dictates. F you, Brennan. Well, right. No, but that's no. Kits. That's an exception to hearsay. That's an exception to hearsay. He didn't say there's an exception. He said they're not hearsay, which means that either it's not an out-of-court statement, aka it's an in-court statement, or it's not being offered for the truth of the matter asserted. So you're offering an exception to hearsay. He says they're not hearsay, which is completely different. That's what it is. Yeah. Gwennon, fuck if I know, that also, or the text messages and emails and whatnot, whatever it is on the phone that he wants. Dude, it's insane. This is gross. He said they're not hearsay. The defendant's statements are not hearsay, but he's referencing the statements in this documentary. Right. And that's exactly it. Kitzman's is saying, then he's just misstating, seems that in his mind, exception to hearsay, not hearsay or synonymous. Yeah. And that's completely false. I'm sure I honestly think he's forgotten how to I think he's forgotten how, because he hasn't had to actually provide anything to support a statement. Like, he just makes an assertion. And honestly, you know what I mean? It's normally you would have to explain this and understand what you're saying. And he's just not even bothering, because I think he's being spoiled that it doesn't matter with Judge Bev, right? Yeah, she wasn't under oath. So let's just review real quick. Hearsay, what is hearsay? Hearsay is a statement made outside of court that is offered for the truth of the matter asserted. Two things. Statement made outside of court is offered for the truth of the matter asserted. By definition, her statements here are hearsay because they're being offered for the truth of the matter asserted, and they're made outside of court. Now, he could say there's an exception, but still, the statements by themselves, are hearsay, but he doesn't lay any of that out. Yeah, we can totally do a cleanse. All right. Sleep, motherfucker, cleanse. You got it. All right, y'all, party time.
Do 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 do. 339 camping time. Jackson, United, it's time to shine. There's snow, there's snow, there's snow, there's snow. To the window, to the wall, to the wall, to the bartender's last call. At the waterfall, I sleep, motherfucker. I sleep, goddamn. I sleep, motherfucker. I sleep, goddamn. They all crunk and act and mean. Run quickly, rest when they have too much drink in their
There you go, guys. Right, exactly. It was a statement made outside of court. She's offered them as being true. Yep. Party opponent is the strongest up. He's not offering it. You're supposed to lay that shit out. That's how it works. Yeah. I don't even think it's us being pedantic. I mean, that's like literally, this is crazy. I've never, anyway. The good old days when we thought Lolly was the worst thing that could happen. For real. For real, for real. That fan is hypnotic, right? Exactly. Thank you for this. Charlie Lynn says, just like he said, the statements to Yannetti are not privileged because he believes you waived the privilege. Right. Right. When literally what he offered, right, with the rules to support that, as we looked at on the first page, literally says the opposite. Literally says the opposite. Ipsy Dixit. Just because you say it doesn't make it true, Brennan. Okay. Oh, God. Okay. Okay. The helpfulness or unhelpfulness of the statement is not direct legal bait. Yeah, that's not at issue. Okay. Oh wait, we already read all this. We're here. We're at the discussion. That's where we were. Okay. Pursuant to the rules, the Commonwealth seeks to introduce multiple statements made by the defendant. A defendant statement. Okay. So here we go. Okay. A defendant statement is not hearsay and is admissible against the defendant when the statement was made by or adopted by the defendant. Rule 801. The hearsay exemption. So now he's okay. Well, we can give him half credit. He's now putting it's an exception, although he typed it wrong because he put exemption and not exception. The hearsay exception for statements by a party opponent encompasses any extrajudicial statement. Okay, well then fine. At least he finally put it here. Fine, gets a half a point. Extrajudicial statement made by, and by the way, that still puts him at like negative $1 billion, right? Negative $1 billion minus a half a point. A party opponent, not just statements that are inculpatory or against the party's interest. The defendant and her counsel cannot avail themselves of a media strategy to publicize and promote the defendant's varying claims to the public at large and the potential jury pool while simultaneously excising statements and admissions that may not be favorable to her cause. This is what happened to him. He started out as a defense attorney. Dude, okay. Further, under Massachusetts law, it is well settled that, quote, news reporters do not have a constitutionally based testimonial privilege that other citizens do not have. In Massachusetts, there is no qualified journalist privilege. We went through all this before with the other people that protects against disclosure of confidential and non-confidential press materials. Even if such privilege, thank you for that math, Kitsmits, that protects against disclosure of confidential and non-confidential press material. Wait, sorry, hold on, different line. Even if such privilege did exist, parties seeking disclosure of non-confidential materials are entitled to seek discovery from a media entity if they can show that the materials at issue are of likely relevance to a significant issue in the case and are not reasonably obtainable from other available sources. The records are not otherwise procurable reasonably in advance of trial. You mean like on the eve of trial, as they say? As they are not held in the care, custody, or control of the Commonwealth or the defendant, and the entity will not produce the records without a court order. The Commonwealth cannot properly prepare for trial. Weren't you already prepared, though? Like, what would happen if this never aired then, this documentary? You'd be like, oh, we're not prepared? Anyway, properly prepare for trial without such production and inspection in advance of trial and the failure to obtain. Look, they were able to prepare for trial the first time without even all of the Lolliport videos, and they were just fine with that. Gotta be kidding me. Without such production and inspection in advance of trial, and the failure to obtain such inspection may tend unreasonably to delay the trial. The Commonwealth expects to introduce the records at trial as evidence of the charges against the defendant. Furthermore, the defendant is entitled to review these records in their entirety prior to trial. As part of the Commonwealth's consideration to assert the defendant's request for a short delay, a short delay in the trial. Okay, let me read that again. A part of the Commonwealth's consideration to assent to the defense request for a short delay in the trial is in part due to the plethora of new information revealed to a national audience. That is interesting. So remember when I said this is going to cause a whole lot of problems because now there's going to be all these other people? This is interesting because Brennan is still saying he wants a short delay in the trial, but Judge Bev already shot that shit down. Now, he filed this that morning before she shot it down. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here, right? Because he's basically conceding here that there would need to be a delay to get all this. I will say that if Judge Bev has to choose, right, between just going ahead and saying, you know, whatever, I'm granting this motion, right? Because again, that will have problems because of all the third-party people that have grounds to get involved here. There's no way that wouldn't delay the trial. So I would say between just granting it and like being like, yeah, would have whatever you want, fuck Karen, and or delaying the trial, I think her priority is to go to trial on April 1st. I think she's April 1st or bust. And if for no other reason, that could be why she denies this. If she denies it, because she realizes there's no way it wouldn't delay the trial. But we'll see. I'm just weighing in on that. That's my thoughts. I think she just wants to go to trial April 1st, no matter what. So is in part due to this plethora of new information revealed to a national audience that is extremely relevant and material to the defense, criminal intent, and conduct. An affidavit in support of this motion is attached. For the above stated reasons, this motion should be allowed. Welcome back, Pierre Dockery. Happy to see you again. Henry, yeah. Wait, why are you calling him Henry? Is that his like government name, as they say? Or I mean, yeah, because remember, they both agreed. Like they agreed. Both parties, just like the first time, wanted it delayed. A short delay, right? And that's what he's saying here. But see, he filed this and then they went to court and then she said, nope. Oh, is it really interesting? Huh. Is Hank a nickname for Henry? How did they get there from Henry to Hank? It's wild. So there's the affidavit here, guys. Affidavit in support of Commonwealth's motion for records. My name is Henry Brennan. Okay, we know who he is. I'm requesting a prompt hearing on this motion and in consideration of the court scheduling order and upcoming trial date. You know what it is? It's really funny. Remember how he wasn't ever submitting affidavits with this shit, with any of his filings? This is new. This filing and the one we read right before it, where he wants to get her text messages and whatnot, there's affidavits from him. It makes me wonder if word got to him that everybody was criticizing him for not ever providing affidavits. I don't know. Why is he doing it out of the blue? It wasn't from Judge Bev. I don't know. It's just interesting because everybody was saying, like, how can you just say shit without an affidavit? So anyway, it's just funny. 2 in a row, we got affidavits now. The Commonwealth will hand serve a copy of this affidavit and accompany motion to the registered agent of the Commonwealth on March 20th, 2025. Unsolved Productions Incorporated is registered with the Secretary of State. Oh, that's a typo. Take out the A. I was right the first time when I proofread it automatically. Unsolved Productions Incorporated is registered with the Secretary of State for doing business in Massachusetts, has a registered agent in Boston, and the docuseries was filmed entirely in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts during the defendant's first trial. On June 9th, okay, she was indicted. We know. She had a trial. We know. Deadlocked. We know. Commonwealth is alleging. We know. All of this is copied and pasted basically here. Okay. The defendant has challenged the Commonwealth's evidence in this case to include allegations of police misconduct, claims that the Commonwealth tampered with evidence, and accusations that the Commonwealth has framed the defendant with murder. Oh, by the way, for anyone who didn't hear it, we learned that Yanetti's not doing the opening statements this time. These allegations that the defendant and Attorney Jackson, Attorney Yanetti, and Attorney Little put forth in the 5-part docuseries, which again, the whole thing hasn't come out yet, right? Is what I thought people are saying, including him. So how does he even know? Because he hasn't seen, like, no one's seen the whole thing, right? Okay, 5-part docuseries about Body in the Snow, the trial of Karen Reed. Importantly, in the aired motions of A Body in the Snow, the trial of Karen Reed features unprecedented access to the defendant and her attorneys during the defendant. Oh my God, it's missing an S. It's missing an apostrophe S. Okay. You know, I held off as long as I could. Wait, do you not know why everyone's calling him Brennan? Not just us. Because he keeps calling Mr. Alessi Mr. Alisi. So everyone started calling him Brennan. What Pierre Dockery, he knows it's done on purpose. I'm not sure what you were referencing there. If you want to let me know. Assume typo unless proven otherwise. He spells only. That's fucking funny. Because it's supposed to be Brennan. That's fucking funny, Fender. Did he actually misspell it? I wouldn't be surprised. Right? Robert, Elizabeth, Allen, dad equals read team. That's hilarious. Goat for the road there. Or David, right? Oops, David, right? I kind of figured as much. I was like, yeah, I guess her dad could be part, right? Robert, Elizabeth, Allen, David, yeah. Oh, did he actually say Brennan though? I thought everybody was saying Brennan because he also says Elise. That is even fucking funnier then. I didn't catch that. He said Brennan because I always skip that part, right? Because it's like, you know, that is so funny. He said Brennan. Oh my God. I thought it was because he says Elise. That's really funny. Okay. Wow. All right. The plethora of information, both from counsels and the defendant, is extremely material and relevant to the charges and the evidence. The defendant's multitude of inconsistent statements and admissions are admissible evidence in both the Commonwealth's case in chief and rebuttal. What the Commonwealth and nationwide audience has been able to learn and view over the 3 nights of aired footage is prolific and newly revealed information. Again, I haven't seen it. If I can figure out a way to see it, I'll let y'all know. Pursuant to Massachusetts Rule of Evidence 801 D2A, the Commonwealth seeks to introduce statements not limited to oral assertions, but also the nonverbal conduct captured on film by the defendant. In other words, he wants to actually play footage. A defendant's statement is not hearsay and is admissible against the defendant when the statement was made or adopted by the defendant. Right. A statement includes a person's oral assertion, written assertion, or nonverbal conduct if the person intended it as an assertion. Remember when this came up in another filing? This might have actually been for Idaho, and I literally goaded or lost my mind without goading, maybe, saying, how do you know what the person... Yeah, no, this was Idaho. It was Idaho. It was Idaho. Because I literally said, how do you know what the person intended? Are you mind readers? How can you say that somebody intended something as... Like, that is insane. Nonverbal conduct. And you know how they intended it? Gotta be fucking kidding me. And again, he spelled exception wrong. He spelled it wrong again. I'm going to correct it. The hearsay exception for statements by a party opponent encompasses any extrajudicial statement made by a party opponent, not just statements that are inculpatory or against the party's interest. Oh my God. The Commonwealth's motion is not a fishing expedition, which is hilarious because everyone is calling it a fishing expedition, as it is reasonably likely to produce additional statements of the defendant. Also, the other thing that's funny is that he's saying that because normally, like, okay, that's not like an actual legal argument, right? That's more like being defensive because you know people are going to be making fun of you / talking shit about you, right? This is like, I know you are, but what am I? Like a toddler. That's what this is like. This is so weird. The Commonwealth's motion is not a fishing expedition as it is reasonably likely to produce additional statements of the defendant. The limited broadcast is devoid of additional context that will be helpful for the jurors to learn relative to the admission by the defendant. Further, the first trial spanned over 11 weeks and the production of this documentary followed and recorded the defendant and her counsels leading up to the trial and during the entirety of the trial. It is reasonable to believe that there is more than the aired approximately 5.5 hours of video footage. He wants more. But who cares? No big deal. I want more. I want to see all the video footage. Little Mermaid. Thus, the Commonwealth seeks a copy of this evidence in its entirety, signed under the pains and penalty of perjury. Boy, oh boy, do I have thoughts about the pains issue, the pains portion of that. My God. And he spelled his name right that time, guys. That's good. That's good. Ugh. Hi, Iowa. We love you. I remember that whole thing with green and gray. Yeah, they're interchangeable. Yeah. That's possible. I appreciate, Glennon, that you're giving him the benefit of the doubt on that. I do appreciate that. That's nice of you. Yeah, he definitely is the kid that never did his homework and then paid someone else to do it. Yeah. That's right. His whole strategy is to be defensive. But yeah, he's way worse than Lolly. I mean, it's just... That's crazy. Why would he think she confessed? Does he really think that? Why would he think she confessed? That is insane. That's That's hilarious. Kitsman's great minds think alike. Look at this stuff. Isn't it sweet? Oh dear. We could do a whole thing, couldn't we, on that one now? Oh man, the possibilities are endless. Yeah. The Morrissey video. Hang on. I'm glad. Thank you for saying that, because I've been meaning to do something and I totally forgot until now. So give me just a second, guys. I've totally been meaning to do this. But who cares? No big deal. Yeah, we could do a whole song though. All right. Okay. All right. All right. Here's the thing. So, are you guys ready? You guys have probably seen this. I have a story here. Okay. I have a story. Here's the story. And I've been meaning to watch this with you guys. And I'm so glad I'm remembering to do it now. Oh, that's interesting. You're saying that you think he thinks she confessed based on the way it read to you a minute ago. Okay. I mean, honestly, anything's possible at this point. I guess that's really the thing. So here's what I will say. When did this statement come out? August 25th, 2023. So many of you guys know, like, I did not follow this case at all. I stayed away from it like the plague until I heard YANETTI'S opening statements totally by accident. Didn't put them on. It came on like auto on YouTube, right? But here's what's really funny. Here's the thing. So whenever this video was circulating, right, I had no idea what this was. I did not know what this was. I had no idea what it was related to. I literally, so I remember, there's a story here. So I remember when this came out, because here's what happened. Somehow it came up on, like, I saw it. I either saw it or maybe I just heard it. I might have just heard it, but I had no idea who this person was. I had no idea what it was talking about. And I literally all this time since August 2023, I thought this was a meme video, kind of like the lawyer cat or something. I thought this was a meme video that was being funny. And I did not know until really recently. I forget where somebody watched it. Might have been on Friday Night Frenzy, like something like that, right? One of the LawTube channels was, or no, maybe it was Lawyer You Know. I can't remember who. One of the LawTube channels, right? And I was like in the other room, and then I heard them talking about it, and then I heard them play like the first sentence, and I was like, wait. And then it dawned on me, he's like, hang on, this is that same video I saw back then. I was like, wait. That's not a meme. So again, I didn't even know what it was about. I had no idea it had anything to do with Kearney Reed, but I thought it was a joke. And I did not know until like whatever it was a week ago that this was real and this was about this case. And so ever since that happened, I've been meaning to watch this and I keep forgetting. So we're going to watch it now. In the chat, y'all let me know, has anybody not seen this? Yeah, Fender was amazing because she got caught up. We were doing recaps on the trial last summer, and Fender came in right in the middle of like fucking like Jen on the stand, right? Came in like a trooper, got caught up from the very beginning, got caught up to speed, and like became like, you know, and it was awesome. It was super fucking awesome. Oh, that's really funny. That's really funny. There's always tomorrow. I love that movie, by the way, the Rudolph movie. Love that movie. Dreams do come true. Wait, what's not like a masked state trooper? Do 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 do. So has anyone not seen this? I'm guessing that means everyone has seen it. Excellent. So I was floored when I realized that this was real. I literally cannot believe it. I cannot believe that this is real. This seems like it can't possibly be real but we're going to watch it. Here we go.
This will be the first statement of its kind in my dozen years as Norfolk District Attorney.
Oh my God.
The harassment of witnesses in the murder prosecution of Karen Reed.
There is a cartoon character that's a bad guy in one of these movies. One of you guys will know. It's a bad mouse. It's either a mouse or a rat, and it's like the evil villain in one of these movies. I can picture the character, but I don't remember what it's from because whatever it is, I must not have seen it since I was really little. But somebody will probably know. And that literally is his doppelganger. So let's back this up to the beginning of its insanity.
This will be the first statement of its kind in my dozen years as Norfolk District Attorney. The harassment of witnesses in the murder prosecution of Karen Reed is absolutely baseless. It should be an outrage to any decent person, and it needs to stop. Innuendo is not evidence. False narratives are not evidence. However, what evidence does show is that John O'Keefe never entered the home at...
See, I didn't know who John O'Keefe was. Clearly, whenever I heard this, again, I didn't know. I didn't hear the Kearney part, but you can see why I thought it was fake, right? Because how can this be real?
Decent person, and it needs to stop. Innuendo is not evidence. False narratives are not evidence. However, what evidence does show is that John O'Keefe never entered the home at 34 Fairview Road in Canton the night he died. Location data from his phone, recovered from the lawn beneath his body when he was transported to the hospital, shows that his phone did not enter that home. 11 people have given statements that they did not see John O'Keefe enter the home at 34 Fairview that night. 0 people have said that they saw him enter the home. 0. No one. Some have, without any evidence, pointed to 18-year-old Colin Albert, a nephew of the homeowner, and accused him of attacking John O'Keefe as he entered the home. But phone evidence shows O'Keefe never entered the home at all. Testimony from witnesses tell us that 18-year-old Colin Albert had left his uncle's home before John O'Keefe and Karen Reed had arrived outside the residence. There was no fight inside that home. John O'Keefe did not enter the home. Colin Albert, the young man being vilified, was not present when Reed's vehicle and John O'Keefe arrived on the street. This is a false narrative. Colin Albert didn't commit murder. Jennifer McCabe, Matthew McCabe, and Brian Albert. These people were not part of a conspiracy and certainly did not commit murder or any crime that night. They have been forthcoming with authority, providing statements, and have not engaged in any cover-up. They are not suspects in any crime. They are merely witnesses in the case. To have them accused of murder is outrageous. To have them harassed and intimidated based on false narratives and accusations is wrong.
You know what's so interesting is that goes back to the thing we were just talking about, like why is Brennan so hung up on the witness thing? So I was just looking up Templeton from Charlotte's Web. I think you could be right, Gwen. And I'm also looking at Professor Radigan from The Great Mouse Detective, but I think you might be right about Templeton because I loved Charlotte's Web as a little kid, and I haven't seen it since I was really little. So it might be to the Templeton. Thank you, Gwen. Except for Allie on the stand saying he was in the house. Wait, you're trying to get me to say what now? How about the video that Morrissey says he has a video of Karen? Right, I know. I have no idea. That's why I thought this was fake. That's why I thought this was a joke, because every single word in this is wrong on so many levels. It's absolutely insane. It's absolutely crazy. I don't understand this, how this is. And what's on his tie? Oh, it's sailboats. Fucking hell. James is here. Yay, welcome.
They are witnesses doing what our justice system asks of them. The autopsy of John O'Keefe was conducted by a forensic pathologist from the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner. The doctor found that the injuries that left John helpless in the cold were not a result of a fight. She further found that the line of abrasions on his arm was consistent with blunt trauma, not an animal attack.
Thank you so much, Charlie.
A grand jury of everyday citizens heard the documented evidence and testimony before making a decision.
This is absolute insanity. Thank you again, Charlie Lynn, for your super chat. She said, Mark Better points out that an email from Julie Albert directed him what to say in the statement. I don't know if that makes it better or worse. I don't know. What do you guys think? Does that make it better or worse?
The subject of that murder indictment enjoys the constitutional presumption of innocence. Why should the witnesses who have committed no crime be afforded less by members of the community? They should not be harassed for telling the government what they heard or saw. I'm asking the Canton community and everyone who feels invested in this case to hear all the actual evidence at trial before assigning guilt to people who have done nothing wrong. And certainly before taking it upon yourself to harass citizens who evidence shows have done nothing.
You know what it is? It's that classic thing of the swapping of the victims. That's what it is. Because you know what's this is so interesting, because I didn't even think about the connection that this would have to what we were talking about, where we were like discussing why is Brennan so hung up on this whole witness harassment thing, right? I didn't even connect the dots, because literally I've only heard this the one time back when I thought it was a joke, and then the one time like a week ago or whatever, right? But it's interesting because it's the same type of narrative. And it's that same thing of like, Karen's not the victim. The witnesses are the victims. The McAlberts are the victims. That's the thing. That's what they're doing. And in this case, victims of harassment. So this isn't even your standard fare, like when you see this with cases. Like this is like, okay.
In this matter, but come forward and bear witness.
Right? Yeah.
We're not
calling the medical examiner, guys. Did everyone catch that in the last hearing? The Commonwealth is not calling Dr. Scordi-Bello.
On the court and not on the internet for a reason. The internet has no rules of evidence. The internet has no punishment for perjury.
And literally, I can't, you guys, I'm going to die. I'm going to literally die. What does he think? Where does he think this video is? How does he think that we're watching it right now? I'm going to lose it.
We try people in the court and not on the internet for a reason. The internet has no rules of evidence. The internet has no punishment for perjury.
That makes me feel better. Thank you.
And the internet does not know all the facts. Conspiracy theories are not evidence. The idea that multiple police department, EMTs, fire personnel, the medical examiner, and prosecuting agencies are joined in or taken in by a vast conspiracy should be seen for what it is, completely contrary to the evidence and a desperate attempt to reassign guilt. Michael Proctor, the state police trooper, being accused of planting evidence outside 34 Fairview Road, was never at Fairview Road on the day of the incident. Proctor and his state police partner traveled together the entire day while other officers were processing 34 Fairview. Trooper Proctor was not there and did not plant evidence at 34 Fairview Road. In addition to having no opportunity.
I need a break. I said I was going to explain something after the video, but like, my brain can only listen to like one sentence at a time because it can't. And so I'm like, I'm like not even I don't even know what he's saying anymore. So what happened? Here's my interpretation of what happened at the hearing. So because we covered the witness list, so Dr. Scordi-Bello is on the Commonwealth's witness list. So what happened in the hearing was Miss Little said they're not calling her, and then said she's not on the witness list. The mistake that Miss Little made, from my interpretation of that exchange, was that she is on the witness list, but the Commonwealth confirmed they're not calling her, and then it was like the thing of like, which that's not the only witness like that, where it's like they have a witness on the witness list, but they're not calling them. Similarly to the Aruba sister girl people, right? Those girls, the Sullivan people, like they're also on the witness list, but they're not calling them. So I think that's actually kind of how it came up, maybe. So, but she made the mistake of saying, yeah, they're not calling her because she's not on the witness list, but she is on the witness list, but they're not calling her. And so it's actually worse because they didn't bother to like put together an actual correct list. That was how I understood that whole thing. I thought he did confirm that. You know, I'm pretty sure I have it timestamped from the hearing. I'm pretty sure I have it timestamped as them not calling the medical examiner. So that'll make it easy for me to go back and find that exact moment. And I'll listen to it again and double check.
Contrary to the evidence and a desperate attempt to reassign guilt. Michael Proctor, the state police trooper, being accused of planting evidence outside 34 Fairview Road, was never at Fairview Road on the day of the incident. Proctor and his state police partner traveled together the entire day while other officers were processing 34 Fairview. Trooper Proctor.
Yeah, there's a problem with that. Okay. Hang on, let me back it up. There's a misstatement there. What do you mean, Twez?
The state police trooper being accused of planting evidence outside 34 Fairview Road was never at Fairview Road on the day of the incident. Proctor and his state police partner traveled together the entire day while other officers were processing 34 Fairview. Trooper Proctor was not there and did not plant evidence at 34 Fairview Road.
Fuck, I can't remember. See, Gwennon, I don't know. I don't remember. I'm sure someone in the chat will know. Actually, Fender probably, I'm sure someone will know. And that's true, but I'm saying that's what I think the confusion was about, that they were bickering over, if you want to call it bickering. But like okay, it seems like some people thought it was a big deal that Miss Little made that mistake. And I didn't think it was that big of a deal because, I mean, it's just, she thought she wasn't on the witness list when she is. But the more important thing is like, they told her they weren't going to call her. And that's what I think they confirmed anyway. So, okay. She was on the list with Yanetti. AJ and Little didn't get entered until Thursday morning. It was an honest mistake. Right. That's what I figured. Yeah. Can anyone though confirm? I don't know. I don't know. See, I feel like this was a thing where there was confusion about this, right? Kind of like the face down thing. I feel like it was Trooper Proctor who was traveling with others. I think it was. But yeah, that's my recollection from the trial last summer. So, great point from Kitsmith, though. That is such a dumb statement. Proctor was not there on the 28th, 29th, and did not plant evidence. Yeah, he wasn't there that day, but most of the evidence, in scare quotes, was found days and weeks later. Yeah. I haven't slept since whenever all the live streams started. So when I covered the witness list, she was on it. When I covered I still have the witness list. I can show you guys. I have it. But they said they're not calling her though. That's my, that was my interpretation of things. Hang on just a sec. Hold on. So what I did was I highlighted people who were new from that weren't from the first trial. Okay. See, there's the Sullivan sisters. So the blue highlights again, those are new people that weren't there before, didn't testify before. Well, at least noteworthy ones, right? So there's the experts. And there's Dr. Scordi-Bello. And there's Dr. Renee Stonebridge. Now, what's funny is its number on this list that I have, she's number 82. So interesting. 430. So that was during Murdoch. You missed some good stuff there. Yeah, I just made an honest mistake. Yeah. But I think the important takeaway, right, again, is are they calling her or not? And I heard him confirm that they're not calling her. He was like, yeah, she's wrong that she is on the witness list, but she's right that we're not calling her, right? That was my takeaway from it. Right. And I think that's why the Commonwealth is not calling her. Because that came up in another motion too, right? Remember, they're trying to get like the manner of death or whatever in with somebody else that's not a medical doctor, is one of their other experts. So that was what I was thinking, right? Is that by not calling the medical examiner, they could try to have, who was it? One of these people. Oh my God. One of these crazy heads, opine outside of their field, right? And offer, it might've been Judson Welcher. I think that's what it was. Right. It was that dude, I think. Right. It's that guy. That's the guy they wanted him to testify to fucking everything and rely on the witness statements. Judson Welcher, that dude. And that was part of the opinion that they talked about in the hearing, was like that he's going to testify. Part of it was like, I don't remember if it was cause or manner or whatever, but it shouldn't be anywhere near that, right? And it was like either one or both. And like that was going to be in lieu of the medical examiner. That was how I interpreted what the Commonwealth wanted to do here. Right. And that's the thing, because if the medical examiner testifies, then that's going to come in. So they're just not going to call her. Now she was on the, I'll just double check just to make sure, but I believe she was on the defense list. And that's the whole thing, right? They're going to try to have that kept out, which is just sad, really. Like, I didn't even know that was an option. I've never heard of that. Who doesn't call the medical examiner for a murder case or any case where there's like, that's insanity. I'm just looking. Yep. There she is on the defense list, number 75, Dr. Scordi-Bello. So they can call her. God, just when you think it can't get any crazier, right? Red Solo cups and the leaf blower and all the rest. And then it's like defense case. And then like, oh, the Commonwealth arrest, they didn't call the Emmy. And then the defense calls the Emmy. I mean, it's crazy. Right. But at least they did call the Emmy. You got to hand it to Lolly on that one, because what level do you have to stoop to not call the Emmy? It's unfathomable. I didn't think it was legal. It's like kids playing dress up or like make believe, right? How do you prove a homicide without calling the Emmy? Anyway, it's insanity. Okay, so it's back to the other part of the insanity. Yeah, well, they should force Brennan into a corner and just make him stay there. I would be fine. Look, I'd make a trade. Fine, don't call the Emmy, but keep Brennan in the corner and leave him there. Let Lolly try this case instead. I would be fine with that. I would make that deal. So we're going to listen to some more of this, though, because we are apparently masochists.
Proctor and his state police partner traveled together the entire day while other officers were processing 34 Fairview. Trooper Proctor was not there and did not plant evidence at 34 Fairview Road.
Well,
in addition to
because he said it, it must be true.
having no opportunity to plant the evidence, as has been suggested, Proctor would have no motive to do so. Trooper Proctor had no close personal relationship with any of the parties involved in the investigation and had no conflict. And he had no reason to step out of this investigation. Every suggestion to the contrary is a lie.
Why?
This should be seen for what it is and not used as a pretext to attack and harass others.
This is the most insane thing.
What is happening to the witnesses, some with no actual involvement in the case, is wrong. It is contrary to the American values of fairness and the constitutional value of a fair trial. It needs to stop now. I am releasing this recorded statement rather than holding a news conference because
like he's a hostage reading one of those, hostage, when like they make you read a note, like it's like that thing.
Remarks need to be so narrowly tailored to the issue at hand while the prosecution is pending in Superior Court. But the message is the same. What is happening to these innocent people, these witnesses, is wrong. And
this is the whole thing that they're peddling. The real victims are the witnesses. You know what's interesting? It's not even the real victim is the one who died, like the actual victim. He's not even he mentioned John O'Keefe's name, I believe, one time. We're going to watch it again, and this time I'm going to count. I'm going to make a list. I'm going to count. How many times does he say John O'Keefe, and how many times does he say witnesses or name any of them individually? Because I'm pretty sure he said John's name once, and the victims instead are the McAlberts. So let's do this one more time. I'm going to make a list, keep track.
this will be the first statement of its kind in my dozen years as Norfolk District Attorney. The harassment of witnesses in the murder prosecution of Karen Reed is absolutely baseless. It should be an outrage to any decent person, and it needs to stop. Innuendo is not evidence. False narratives are not evidence. However, what evidence does show is that John O'Keefe never entered the home at 34 Fairview Road in Canton the night he died.
He didn't say he was a victim, but he
Location data from his phone.
Right, you guys, should I count this right? He didn't say he's a victim, but he just mentioned his name. He said John O'Keefe never entered the house. Should that count or not? Because the way he's referencing the witnesses is like they're victims. I don't know. I feel like I should still count it just to be fair because he did say the name. So
Recovered from the lawn beneath his body when he was transported to the hospital shows that this phone did not enter that home. 11 people have given statements that they did not see John O'Keefe enter the home at 34 Fairview that night. 0 people have said that they saw him enter the home. 0. No one. Some have, without any evidence, pointed to 18-year-old Colin Albert.
hold on, Kitsmith, you got 2 for John? Let me back it up a second because I've got he said other people. I've got John O'Keefe, and then I've got witnesses, and then I've got individual people. Like, for example, when he says Colin. 2 for John O'Keefe. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you.
Have given statements that they did not see John O'Keefe enter the home at 34 Fairview that night.
Gotcha.
0 people.
All right, there it is.
Said that they saw him enter the home. 0. No one. Some have, without any evidence, pointed to 18-year-old Colin Albert, a nephew of the homeowner, and accused him of attacking John O'Keefe as he entered the home. But phone evidence shows O'Keefe never entered the home at all. Testimony from witnesses tell us that 18-year-old Colin Albert had left his uncle's home before John O'Keefe and Karen Reed had arrived outside the residence. There was no fight inside that home. John O'Keefe did not enter the home. Colin Albert, the young man being vilified, was not present when Reed's vehicle and John O'Keefe arrived on the street. This is a false narrative. Colin Albert didn't commit murder. Jennifer McCabe, Matthew McCabe, and Brian Albert. These people were not part of a conspiracy and certainly did not commit murder or any crime that night. They have been forthcoming with authority, providing statements, and have not engaged in any cover-up. They are not suspects in any crime. They are merely witnesses in the case. To have them accused of murder is outrageous. To have them harassed and intimidated based on false narratives and accusations is wrong. They are witnesses doing what our justice system asks of them. The autopsy of John O'Keefe was conducted by a forensic pathologist from the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner. The doctor found that the injuries that left John helpless in the cold were not a result of a fight. She further found that the line of abrasions on his arm was consistent with blunt trauma, not an animal attack.
I mean, that part is crazy, right? Like, not an animal attack. I mean, all of the rumors and nonsense that was going on, it's like he literally, anyway, okay.
A grand jury of everyday citizens heard the documented evidence and testimony before making a decision. The subject of that murder indictment enjoys the constitutional presumption of innocence. Why should the witnesses who have committed no crime be afforded less by members of the community?
Listen, so just when you thought, oh, he's talking about the presumption of innocence, as in the defendant, right? Because she was indicted by a grand jury. Nope. He's talking about, guess who? The witnesses.
A grand jury of everyday citizens heard the documented evidence and testimony before making a decision. The subject of that murder indictment enjoys the constitutional presumption of innocence. Why should the witnesses who have committed no crime be afforded less by members of the community? They should not be harassed for telling the government what they heard or saw. I'm asking the Canton community and everyone who feels invested in this case to hear all the actual evidence at trial before assigning guilt to people who have done nothing wrong. And certainly before taking it upon yourself to harass citizens who evidence shows have done nothing in this matter but come forward and bear witness. We try people in the court and not on the internet for a reason. The internet has no rules of evidence. The internet has no punishment for perjury. And the internet does not know all the facts. Conspiracy theories are not evidence. The idea that multiple police department, EMTs, fire personnel, the medical examiner, and prosecuting agencies are joined in or taken in by a vast conspiracy should be seen for what it is, completely contrary to the evidence and a desperate attempt to reassign guilt. Michael Proctor, the state police trooper, being accused of planting evidence outside 34 Fairview Road, was never at Fairview Road on the day of the incident. Proctor and his state police partner traveled together the entire day while other officers were processing 34 Fairview. Trooper Proctor was not there and did not plant evidence at 34 Fairview Road. In addition to having no opportunity to plant the evidence, as has been suggested, Proctor would have no motive to do so. Trooper Proctor had no close personal relationship with any of the parties involved in the investigation and had no conflict. And he had no reason to step out of this investigation. Every suggestion to the contrary is a lie. This should be seen for what it is and not used as a pretext to attack and harass others. What is happening to the witnesses, some with no actual involvement in the case, is wrong.
It's wrong, guys.
It is contrary to the American values of fairness and the constitutional value of a fair trial. It needs to stop now. I am releasing this recorded statement rather than holding a news conference because my remarks need to be so narrowly tailored to the issue at hand while the prosecution is pending in Superior Court. But the message is the same. What is happening to these innocent people, these witnesses, is wrong and it needs to stop.
So the witnesses are innocent, not the defendant. All right, so here's what I got, guys.
Any of the parties in
it's funny because, like I said, I only thought he said John's name once. You know why I didn't catch it the other times? Is because he never refers to him as a victim. And that's why I didn't stand out. So here's the grand totals. So John O'Keefe, again, never refers to as a victim, but it says the name 8 times. Witnesses, 10 times. And specific witnesses, aka the McAlberts or Proctor, who he's referencing as a victim. It was really hard to keep track because there were so many, but it was at least 12. I probably missed several. It was at least 12. So again, John O'Keefe was 8, witnesses was 10, and the individual witnesses was at least 12. That's in addition to witnesses. Like literally, it's like I did the word witnesses. So the individual ones is like when he actually names them specifically was at least 12. So there you go. On that note, I will say, for anyone who has not seen the video with the epic entrance to the turtle, speaking of the turtle boy, with the damn, it feels good to be a gangster. After this stream ends, probably a good thing to do. It'll definitely put you in a different mood, probably, I would say. And it's really fucking funny. Also, tonight we're going to be back on BK. And for any of you guys who were there last time, I wanted to follow up on three quick things here. So there were 3 things that I'm following up on from last time. One was we had talked about watching the Bill Thompson press conference, and I meant to do that, and then we got sidetracked with the expert witness, the Barnhart video thing. So we are going to watch the press conference. So don't worry, for those of you guys who are like, yeah, I want to watch it, we're going to watch it tonight. The second thing is that we're going to also follow up with, we were asking ourselves for sure, when was the knife sheath released into the media to where people could have found out about it? I've got answers for that. And then the other thing that I promised you guys I would follow up on is if there is any type of third-party culprit defense in Idaho, I've got case law on that as well. So those were the 3 things. Oh, wait, sorry. There's a 4th thing. The 4th thing was if Dylan was actually shown a picture of the defendant or if it was just she looked it up on her own. That's actually a huge issue. I'm going to follow up on that as well. So all of the things that we talked about that I was like, I got to follow up on, I've got answers for all of them. I'm happy to say. The only thing I haven't done yet is gone through all of the documents and done Control F to see how often they mention skin cells, but I don't know that that's as important and that would take a lot of time. So that was the least priority on the list. So anyway, but yeah, so those are the updates. So that we will have those tonight. And then that should redirect into the next Murdoch live stream. And that one's going to be dealing with all the awesomeness. We're going to get into the side of the road, the drug addiction. We're going to watch the videos where I called Sunrise Detox. We're going to Cousin Eddie, Redbeard, and then it's going to get into the master timeline. So it's going to be super fucking epic. So that those will be tonight. And yeah. We are caught up to speed on all the Karen Reed documents. I haven't checked yet today, but I doubt there's been anything. Yep. And for anyone who missed it, please, if you're a member and you want to participate in the members only trivia, please make sure you get your request for your specific categories. Your specific categories requests. Put it in the Discord. There's the members only thread. You can chuck it in there so I can compile that list. And remember, the next members only live will actually be the Never Have I Ever. And then after that, we will have the trivia because it's going to take a while for everyone to get their submissions in and for me to compile all those questions. And I think that's it on the announcements, probably. I think that's it. Oh, and I wrote down John Lee Hooker, Mr. Alessi's favorite musician. For anyone who missed it, Mr. Alessi's favorite musician is a blues musician called John Lee Hooker, who I've not listened to, and I'm going to make sure I listen to him as well. And I was very excited because I'm like, I don't think I actually know this musician. And that is always awesome to have a new thing to listen to. You're very, very welcome. Don't be sorry for falling asleep, guys. Never be sorry for falling asleep. We've been live streaming a ton. And I've just been like on a roll and it's been kind of like, but like, yeah, here we are. It's kind of like running a marathon and like getting past the wall, or like driving long distance and getting past the 10-hour mark. It's like, I'm just like in a groove. I'm like, I should just stream. Yeah, I'm going to take a break. But yeah, you guys are awesome. Y'all are the best. And I'm still getting caught up on timestamps. I do have timestamps done for the most recent Karen Reed hearing and the BK. I'm still getting caught up on Murdoch because those are a lot longer. But yeah, y'all are the best. I love you guys. Thanks so much for being here, everybody. Thanks for being awesome. You guys are so smart. And I love that when one of us doesn't remember a detail or something, somebody always knows, right? And Gwen is letting everyone know she's jumping to Broken Baker. So for anyone who's like, what should we do next? Guys, if you haven't watched the video of the Damn It Feels Good to Be a Gangster, it's like 48 seconds long. I would say I would highly recommend, like, watch that first and then jump over there because you guys will be glad you did. I promise you will be glad you did. It's really fucking funny. And Kitsmith has seen it, I know, so she can probably weigh in on that. But yeah, definitely worth checking out. But yes, I love you guys. We will be back later, and I will see you guys next time. Squirrel out.